welcome to Nerd TV for another full throttle sim racing Mach-1 Performance Cup Series. This time coming at you from the simulated New Hampshire Motor Speedway. This 1 mile track, we're going to take 200 laps around this place to see who can crown themselves champion for the 8th race of the 2023 B season. And the weather on the track right now, it's a little bit cooler than what we've seen so far this summer. 77 degrees in the skies. But if you go to the track temp, you don't see 120 degrees. You actually do see it on that track map on the lower right-hand side of the track map. Temperature 120 on the surface. That's absolutely insane. So these guys have a lot to work with that alone. 60% humidity, partly cloudy, which you see above the tree line there. There is absolutely no clouds, so I'm not sure where that's coming from. And 4-mile-an-hour winds will not play a factor on this short track. My name is Jeremy Stanley, and to my right, Mr. Jason Rockefeller. How you doing, my guy?
I'm doing good, man. I'm ready. We had some Monday afternoon Cup Series action here. Obviously, yesterday's Cup Series race was delayed, so I got to watch that today. I was off work, and I'm here with you, lovely people, here to call this fine FTSR Mach-1 Performance Cup Series race. It's going to be an interesting one, Jeremy. The fact that it was about 120 degrees Fahrenheit right now with track temperature, that's hotter than what we saw for Wednesday night's Martin Sports Truck Series event here. So these guys are going to be in for a handful. We saw a lot of guys slipping and sliding today with hot temperatures out in Loudon. In the Real Cup race today, I assume that that's probably going to be the same way it is for tonight's Mach-1 Performance Cup Series race, because even on Wednesday, we saw a lot of guys slipping and sliding all over the place on restarts, long run, short run, everywhere on this racetrack, everywhere was loose.
Yeah, 100%. And I would expect to see that here tonight for sure. A little more of a handling situation like this whole season compared to last. So just people just trying to get every bit out of these race cars. And sometimes you have to go underneath that line. And this track is very easy to do so. And then to Jason's right, we got our producer in hand, Mr. Dustin Logston, showing up for every single event. How are you doing tonight?
Hey, I'm doing good. Interested to see how tonight's race is actually going to go. I think Jason said it best. We may be in for a hell of a show tonight with these cars. 120 degree surface track temperature is just insane. And I think that's going to play a huge factor in the way that these cars handle. I mean, we've already seen it in the pre-race splash screen, in the camera angles that we've been seeing and everything else. So I have a feeling that we're going to see a lot of loose race cars, especially coming off those corners. As you see Milliken get loose right off of turn 2 there. So I think you're going to see a lot of that tonight for sure.
100% there. I saw Austin Gassion right there off of turn 2 alone off that. And then right there's another one. That's Mr. Chris Beck on the 44. So 2 cars were just to back up your point there and Jason's point as well. Hot, slick surface. And you're going to see a lot of that. Stage break at lap 50. So these guys have a decent chance to figure out how their long run set's going to work. They have 150 laps after that to settle it out here. Yeah, it's going to be crazy. I think it's going to be a lot of fun for us to watch, kind of like that short track, but you got the really slick surface, something that the next-gen cars typically like, Jason.
Yeah, they really do. And I mean, the back end kind of slips around a lot and stuff like that. But obviously the tires, they don't wear nearly as much. But obviously iRacing's tire model, a little bit different than the real life scenario. You can obviously try to perfect it as good as you can, but you're only going to get so close. I expect tire wear to be just probably as important as it was on Wednesday night. Probably not nearly as bad because of this low profile tire and obviously the wider width. But nevertheless, I mean, this is still going to be a really good race. You're going to see probably as this run progresses with the different runs that we're going to have, whether it be to the end of lap 50 or whether it be all the way to the end of the race, you're going to see guys go from the bottom, middle, top. Today, it was really all about being on that middle to top groove. You really couldn't get the bottom rotate a lot. I expect that to be probably the same thing here tonight. 1, 2, 3, 4, a little bit flatter right there below those that first set of white dotted lines. And then obviously it starts to get banked up a little bit, about 7 degrees throughout the corners through 1 and 4. So I think middle lane's probably going to be the way that you're going to want to be tonight, but you're also going to see a lot of guys diamond in the corner. We saw a lot of guys on Wednesday night have a lot of issues trying to, diamond those corners, go really high out entry, swoop down in the middle and come low. That's how you start spinning that right rear round. That's how you go around off turn 2, which we saw a lot of guys do that that on Wednesday night, and even on the first lap off 4 on Wednesday as well.
Yeah, 100% there. We do see the checker flags flying in this practice session. It is our time to turn our 100% focus to the qualifying as we're going to say goodbye from our cameras. And we're going to try to ride on board with the number 19, Mr. Richie Coy, who won practice by 7/1000ths of a second. This time over the 99 of Austin Gassion, a driver from Eastern Stars Motorsports. But here's Richie Coy in his advanced auto parts Ford Mustang, and he is one of our 2 iRock 93.5 cockpit cameras here this evening.
Yeah, and Richie's coming off of a win from Wednesday night. He's trying to make it back-to-back sweeps. He won a Chicagoland back-to-back, so he's trying to make, not only would it be basically 4 wins in a row if Richie were to, or no, excuse me, this is from a couple weeks ago. I'm going back thinking of Chicago. We were also just in Atlanta. But, you know, a couple weeks ago, he won Chicago, swept there. He's going for the sweep here tonight as well. So I expect Richie to be really fast. I mean, he's always super fast. Short tracks, mile and a half, road courses, you name it. This guy is the one to beat. He had some competition from our boy on Wednesday night, new to the truck series, but obviously he was able to hold him off. Richie's just always stone cold face. You know, he's basically like Stone Cold Steve Austin in a sense. He's always just got that cold look, but he's focused all the time, constantly. You see him coming out of 4. He's talking to his team right now from the iRock 93.5 camera, and he's going to probably put down a heater of a lap here. Lap 1, 30.942, only good for third. Jeff Chandler, who is looking for a very good run, Jeremy, he has finished outside the top 24 the last 2 races. And if there's anybody who would like to have a good run here tonight, it's Jeff Chandler. Obviously, departing from the team just a couple weeks ago and now being on his own team recently, he wants to try to make a statement here tonight.
Yeah, right now he put himself fastest on the boards as Richie Coy gets close to him. Ends up second place at a 7:61. Jeff Chandler holds the qualifying spot. Only driver in the 0.6 second bracket, 30.678. And then third place right now, that Brandon Elder guy in that 51 just continuing to put down heater of laps every single week. It's just whether or not if that long run setup holds, and he's been getting better at it. But now we're looking at the 27 of Ryan Chapman, or other iRock 93.5 cockpit driver here tonight. So right now I think he's on his lap number 1. Don't see his name on the board, but coming through turn 1 and 2. Pretty smooth exit overall, I would say, for this guy. As he's completing his lap 1, jumping over to the chats real quick on the YouTube side. Doyle Laura, it's already there, saying hello. Tires are going to be melting, minimize mistakes, which is absolutely correct when the tires are making, or the heat's bringing the tires into a blistering temperature. And then Matt Keach on the Facebook side saying, hey, what's up? And so chats are open. Feel free to join us. But right now, Ryan Chapman, Jason, 9th place on his lap 1.
He had a solid run, too, on Wednesday night. Obviously had a little bit of issues. But nevertheless, you know, Ryan's a guy. He's always out here. He's just learning. You see how focused he is. We always talk about drivers not blinking. You don't want to blink during qualifying. That's probably the most important time to stay focused, stay locked in. He gets a little bit loose off 4 due to those warm track temperatures right now. Again, ambient air temp 75, track temp 114. That is so hot. And he just jumped up to P3 on the board, currently showing 30.8 flat right now for Ryan Chapman, looking to have a good night in that number 27.
The 2 drivers, nice hit in second and third. I'll take that here. Now we're looking at the 42, Kyle Milliken. It looks like he is going to be taking his first lap here around this 1 mile facility. Pretty low entrance there through 1 and 2. A little wiggle there off of turn 2, but overall looks like it's a pretty good lap so far.
Yeah, he's doing a really good job right now. He's just going to try to enter that corner a little bit higher than I think he probably wanted to. Going to dive it down. Doesn't get down to probably the one that he wanted to, right below that white line, but nevertheless right at the line this time by the 42. It looks like, I don't believe he's posted a lap time yet, so this is coming to green. So now he is on his lap time, though, Jeremy. You're going to see him here try to get off 2. Don't want to slip those tires on the right rear. Keep it in gear. Obviously, heading down the back straightaway, make sure you slow it up enough to where you can just be able to rotate through the center as you ride on board from right over the right shoulder. He'll try to get down there as good as he can. Not completely on the flat surface. Gets a little loose off 4 and to the line this time by Kyle Milliken is going to jump up to, he didn't even post a lap time. So he must have hit the wall on that first lap there, Jeremy.
Yeah, I was actually looking back at lap 1 because that was his first lap when I was talking about him. He didn't touch anything to my knowledge. And then so lap 2, I figured, okay, maybe he's going to post a lap time on this one. But for some reason, he did not post time. And you know what? He probably didn't exit pits correctly because he didn't get any 0Xs. So the only way that would disqualify your lap is it was virtue of a penalty exiting pit road. And that's what it looks like because it jumped over the race real quick. That's what I'm just going to assume. But it is our time, Jason, to go over the starting lineup here for tonight's New Hampshire 200. We have 28 guys taking field tonight. Jeff Chandler is going to take this thing P1 for his newly formed team, Hyperforce Esports. Richie Coy, second place. Jamie Knopp with an excellent qualifying time, going to be starting in third. Ryan Chapman in fourth. Austin Gassione in fifth. Daniel Simmons, sixth. Brandon Elder, seventh. Chad Lang in 8th, Tyler Grinnell in 9th, and tonight's 10th car, Sherwood Williford.
Top 20, Rob Tracy coming off his first top 5 of the year, almost snuck a win away at Atlanta last week. He'll start in the 11th place position. Connor LaFrance, ESM, starts 12th in the 16 machine. Chris Beck starts 13th in the 44. Robert Milikian starts 14th in the 22, been so fast recently. He was fast on Wednesday. Tony Solari starts 15th for Fury Motorsports. Ryan Hendricks, 16th in the 47. And there's the guy we're all going to be watching to see how fast he can get to the front. Mark Brannigan Jr., 17th, currently second in the points right now. 18th, Colby Mice in the number 9 machine. Throwback to Dale Jr.'s Exalta car. 57, Josh Johnson starting 19th tonight. And right there, the 67 machine, James Wallace looks to have a good run tonight. He'll round out your top 20.
21st, number 7, Wayne Grassi. 22nd is going to be Brian Dublé. TJ Bartel will start in 23rd. James Torrey will follow in 24th. Kyle Malicki in 25th. Stephen Loomis, 26th. Alan Crowell, 27th. And the last place guy this evening, Mr. Casey Lowe. Quickly jumping over to the chats before we go. Green flag, Doyle Lawrence saying he really likes that martini paint. That thing's been around probably for a year at this point. And yeah, it never gets old to look at. You look all to the drivers. And this should be an interesting one. We talked about during the pre-race. The temperature is going to be the thing to battle. It did drop 5 degrees from qualifying to race. So we're sitting at 115 degrees, still blistering hot. But you can see the heat haze going down the backstretch here on this turn 3 camera. We're all like, you can see all the air motion just from the exhaust and just the overall heat that this place has coming off this asphalt.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see tonight. And obviously, love that Martini and Rossi scheme. Great sparkling wine to try. Kyle Milliken's going to have his work cut out for him. But everybody else, Jeremy's going to have their work cut out for them tonight as well.
This 31 paint scheme, and Jeff Chandler, his painter, man, I think that was Doyle too, just killing it with that chrome. But here we are. Green flag is out. Almost actually going 3 wide here in turn 1, about 7th place or so. That's going to be... Can't tell who it is exactly, but Richie Coy's going to have the advantage over the 31 of Jeff Chandler off of turn 2. That second groove seems to be the preferred way around this track for the most part. And right now, Richie Coy's going to jump out to that early lead.
You're already starting to see just from that restart. So note taken by a lot of these drivers throughout this field, if not everybody, seeing that the outside lane got going a heck of a lot better than the bottom, and that's the case for what it was on Wednesday night, but it's obviously a little bit different for these next-gen cars. Ryan Hendricks sideways going into 1. He saves it, stacks up the field of 42. Kyle Milliken off and into the grass there in turn number 2. Don't think he collects anybody. Man, Jeremy, 2 cars nearly going around, heading into turn number 1, but thankfully they save it. We stay green.
47 still 3 wide with Jeff Chandler on his, Joshua Johnson on his outside as we go to the Nerd TV replay and see the smoke from the 47. 42 reacts and cuts the yard deep into turn 1 and 2 like he's trying to take the road course section of the track. He loses about 5 or 6 spots there, but he avoided any harm, so he's just got to make up that ground the hard way. Jumping over, there's the 47, catching sideways, the 48. There, Brannigan Jr. jumps to the high side again. He's running every single Dale Jr. paint skin known to man, it seems like here. So we're going to kick it back over to live action. 42 there on your screen. Now underneath the 6 of James Torrey going back to the race lead here. At least Jeff Chandler sitting in 3rd. Austin Gassione, Jason, is moving up really fast.
Gassion's a driver that you obviously got to watch for. Could have won last week. Got into it with Rob Tracy after the race. Obviously, he kind of left that middle lane open for Rob, both him and his teammate. And Rob started to split the middle, and Gassion and his teammate kind of just pinched him and started to wreck. And obviously, Gassion was not too happy with him. But, man, what do you expect? You're going for the win. And I talked with Rob after the race, and I said, hey, man, good job. Just want to congratulate you. You know, we know we don't really see up at the front much, but he did a really good job. And he said, yeah, he didn't really understood why the 99 was so mad at him. It was just a racing deal. But, you know, obviously, no harm, no foul. I'm sure that those guys know it. They talked about it, I believe, after the race as well. But Gassion is a guy you got to look out for right now in the point standings. Richie Coy obviously leading over Mark Brannigan by just 20 points. But as these weeks have been going by, Austin Gassion's been closing that gap in just a little bit more. He's only 4 points behind his teammate, only 24 points back of Richie Coy. So those two ESM guys, they're going to be really quick. And obviously, Richie has been on his toes the last few weeks. I would not be surprised if Austin Gassion sometime, somehow, some way is able to close in on Richie Coy and Mark Brannigan Jr. and possibly go for the Season B title.
Yeah, 100%. You got to love how NASCAR just puts a super speedway and then right after that, a short track style track where if you have tempers from the guy previous, you might have a good time at taking care of it here at this track. But, yeah, they did talk it out. I think everything's clear. Should be no harm, no foul for this race in particular. Starting to see some breakaway packs here. Right now we're focused on Sherwood Williford and the 4 of Chad Lang here side by side on the backstretch. This is for 8th position on the track, still side by side. We talked about tire management. We've said it in the booth. Doyle has said it in the chat. And right now these guys are still going on. There's quite a few racing right now at packs, Jason, that are still side by side.
It's a good battle right here you're seeing between the 33 of Sherwood Williford and the 4, obviously, of Chad Lang, last year's Talladega winner. And Sherwood gets a little bit loose there off the corner. He's been having steady and solid runs here these last couple weeks, and he's trying to get himself back into where he is rightfully deserving, which is usually up inside the top 10. Sherwood's a guy who doesn't really create a lot of issues. In fact, he just gets involved in people's messes that really it's not his fault, just always kind of seems to find a way into those incidents, whether it be bad luck or whether it be somebody else wrecking him or whatnot. He's been always driving very strong, especially Chad Lang. He's come a long way from last season as well. A lot of other drivers, too, throughout the field have improved tremendously since I started calling races over here at FTSR. But here we go. Mark Brannigan Jr. already up 4 spots from where he started. But the thing that's going to be different tonight compared to most tracks, Jeremy, is it is very, very hard to pass here at New Hampshire. We saw that on Wednesday. We saw that today in this afternoon's Cup Series race. And obviously it's going to be the same way here on the sim for these FTSR guys.
Yeah, if you caught the race earlier this afternoon when the Cup guys ran here, Kevin Harvick had one lane where he entered very low, shoved up to the 3rd lane, got into the dark asphalt, and then a car just gripped up and he launched off corner exit on that 3rd lane. Then you get other guys who just hug that 2nd lane all the way around to minimize any tire slide. So there's different advantages around this track. The 4th lane has a little bit of a grip patch as well in the dark stuff. So you can utilize different parts of this track depending on how you set up these cars. I'd love to give a quick shout out to one of our sponsors. This time our Monday night premier sponsor, Mach-1 Performance Race Fabrication Shop, started by the late Johnny Coy Jr. This place has produced champions and winners of all sorts of racing divisions, from road circuits like the SCCA, NASA, to dirt and pavement oval racing. Visit them on Facebook at facebook.com/Mach-1 Performance. They're looking down the backstretch here. Everybody single file, it looks like, throughout the entire field. If we kick over our track map presented by iRacing iFlag, you can see in just a matter of 12 laps, there is cars on half of this track, literally in the middle of turn 1 and also the middle of turn 3 and 4. So right now I think this is the time just to lay back and figure out what you have in store for this evening.
So I really think what you really got to do, Jeremy, obviously, is conserve those tires, because from what we started at, we've already almost pretty much about a half a second of fall off so far. This is obviously the time in a run from when you start on fresh Goodyear Eagles, when the tires will start to wear out between about lap 12, 15 to lap 20. And obviously now we are about 30.8 from where Richie Coy's best lap was on lap 2. And now he's a 31.1 to a 31.2. So starting to fall off a little bit, almost by half a second. So if you're some of these guys, learn to manage those tires, because I expect this race to be very different from what we saw on Wednesday night. Obviously on Wednesday, we saw some cautions. We saw a lot of hard racing, a little bit of shifting here and there from some guys. Compared to tonight, you're going to see shifting from everybody throughout the entire field due to these 5-gear sequential shifters. And it's going to be interesting. So make sure you save those tires and learn to when to pass with runs when you can take them. Just be careful all around tonight, because I expect this race to go green for a long, long time.
It probably should. It's looking like it so far. I know this temp has dropped down a few more degrees to 112. Still damn hot for sure, but it's already 8 degrees cooler than what we saw in practice and qualifying. So a little more comfort in these cars as it starts to cool off a little bit more. And a lot of these guys have spaced out, so they're not trying to do anything to these cars. They want to go be here for the long haul. It's exactly what you're seeing here. We're kicking over to the 99 of Aston Gassion, the 31 of Jeff Chandler. And these guys right now, about a 1.5 second separation between first and second and third. But third and fourth right now is heating up a little bit. Chandler and Knopp here in the 84 looking at his nose of that Chevrolet Camaro. A lot of these guys are nose to tail for a couple spots here in the top 5.
And obviously, this is not what Jeff Chandler wants to see. He knows he's only 17 laps into a run, and the fact that he's already dropped 2 spots and could possibly lose 2 more here to Jamie Knopf and Brandon Elder as they head down the back straightaway, riding on board from his back bumper cam. Yeah, if you're Jeff, you know, you had a really good setup in qualifying probably. That's why he was able to post about a 1/10 to almost 2/10 faster than Richie. But, you know, if it's him, you got to think to yourself, all right, when I come down to the pits, whenever we get a caution or whenever this stage is going to end at lap 50, make sure that you make adjustments, you know, dedicated to how the race car reacts in the late runs. Because from what I've gathered, from what we know, just from my prediction, and I'm sure these guys know as well, this is going to be a long green flag race, probably for sure. So make sure you make those adjustments where your car is going to be set up for those long runs.
Yeah, 100% there. Diane Chapman on the chats here on YouTube saying, Ryan Chapman, drive it like you stole it. And if we want to kick up that cockpit camera presented by iRock 93.5 with Ryan Chapman, it doesn't look like he's playing GTA and stealing some cars and picking up 5-star warrants. More so, he's looking super focused. He's got a lot of pressure behind him here. Got the 33 of Sherwood Williford, the 4 of Chad Lang. These guys are all nose to tail here. This is for 7th, 8th, and 9th place as Sherwood Williford once again looking to the inside of the 27.
Yeah, and you're going to see right here, Ryan Chapman off the corner wants to make sure he doesn't get too loose right there. Nice exit off the corner, shifts up into the 5th gear, clears Sherwood Williford down into turn 1, downshifts really quickly, so he's going to be able to rotate that car. Obviously, that's going to risk a little bit more tire wear, so maybe later on in this run, if Ryan wants to get a better entry, maybe shift a little bit later in the corner, use a little bit more brake so that you're able to drive off better and not use as much tire wear. And he's going to get loose a little bit. The 33 of Williford started coming up the racetrack there and obviously got by Chapman. Now Chapman under fire from Chad Lang. I don't even think this guy has blinked once since we went on the iRock 93.5 cam.
Look how smooth in transition he is shifting this thing. You can see the shifter clearly on the left-hand side of the camera that you're looking at. Watch how casually he just, nice graceful shift, not throwing in the gears. You have to do that here. 5 gears at a short track, you have to shift to maximize your speed, even though a lot of oval racers hate doing it. But it's what you have to do to succeed in these races. That was the 4 of Chad Lang, directly side by side with the 81 in Greneau. Running pretty close there off the quarter panel off of turn 4, still side by side through turns 1 and 2.
Going to try right here to get the run off the corner. Just couldn't do. Got to the gas. Started to get a little loose. And you see Lang gets loose there off turn number 2. But down the back straightaway, Lang's going to have the advantage. Granat's going to have that inside lane but due to the way this track works with the banking, the 4 is going to roll a little bit better heading through the center of the corner, and off exit, Chad Lang is going to clear the 81 for that spot, but Granat hasn't had enough. He wants seconds. He'll go down to the inside of the racetrack, side by side. This is the battle for the 9th spot.
It's not giving it up here. The 81 almost makes contact to the inside of 4 of Chad Lang as they go through 1 and 2 down the backstretch, side by side, dead heat. Granat slides up just a touch on corner entry. Had to check it up though, but oh, he does slide up into the 3rd groove a little bit. It's going to make Chad try to rethink his corner exit. They almost make door contact to the line. Such a close battle there. 6/1000th of a second that time to the number 4 Chad Lang.
Some contact there too when they were going straight right down the straightaway here, and it looks like Granat's just gonna, oh, he almost barely clears the 4 right there. Man, he is going after this 9th place run. He really wants this bad, but he's got to understand too, especially the same thing goes for the 4. If you know you're not as fast, don't risk burning up those tires trying to fight for a position that you can't win. It's just not worth it. Save that right rear. Because remember, we still have to get to lap 50. There is still half of this stage to go. So you have to be careful. 25 laps is quick around New Hampshire. Yeah, 31 to 30 seconds, sometimes 32. But you have to be careful. And look at this man, still biggest mover of the night. Mark Brannigan Jr., we're so used, Jeremy, to talking about him constantly up at the front right now. This is probably the deepest he has started in the field recently, and he is already up inside the top 10 plus 7 from where he started.
Yeah, and his lap times are very, very, very consistent. I'm actually surprised, Jason. I'm looking over these lap times. We're on lap 26 now of this race. No cautions, so it's all green flag material. From lap 2, he ran a 31.6. On lap 24, he landed a 31.7. 1/10 separation on average between lap 2 and lap 24 as he goes by this time a 31.8. So only 2/10 between start of the race and 26 laps. That tells me Mark and some of these other guys that I've seen that has more consistent times, they have a setup that's geared for this long run.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, that last time around, 31.8 for him compared to Richie Coy's 31.5. But I mean, a couple cautions, obviously the stage being able to make some adjustments. I guarantee you that Dale Jr. 2010 Coke 0400 throwback from Daytona is probably going to be up there. We've seen that National Guard machine up front ever since he started here in the FTSR, and he is continuing to get better week in and week out. Obviously, he's just been a guy who is constantly giving Richie Coy a run for his money. Obviously, having 5 wins, the most wins this season so far. And then Austin Gassio, I'm looking at top 5s. 3 wins so far for Mark Brannigan this year compared to Richie Coy's 2. So he's topping Richie by 1. But I mean, with the way that Richie's been running here tonight, he's just going to extend Richie Coy's point lead. So if you're Austin Gassione and you're Mark Brannigan Jr., Jeremy, you're looking for Richie Coy to have some kind of mistake. But interesting fact, just want to throw this out there. I said it earlier before during pre-race when we were talking. Only 2 incident points for Richie Coy so far all season long. That is a big deal if you are an iRacer. The fact that there is only 2 incidents. Oh, and the 44, Chris Beck, shoved up into the wall by the 16 of Connor LaFrance down the straightaway. That was very, very odd.
Yeah, just came off corner exit, carried a lot of speed, and barely gave him the nudge there in the left rear corner panel, and it just took the 44 into the wall. I don't see much damage on Chris Beck's car, but we'll be curious to see if he's going to try to get back to the 16 as we're going to jump to the Nerd TV replay off corner. Just a very slight nudge. That Chevrolet Camaro nose comes out to a point, and that's all it took, is that little extra protrusion on the nose, touched the back of the 44, and it put him to the outside wall. But the 44 is still maintaining pace, about a 1/10 off the back of the 16s. You get one more slow motion. Yeah, just ever so slightly makes that contact and a little pop to the wall. Didn't look like it was too bad, though.
Yeah, that would have been bad, too, for the 16 LaFrance and obviously the 44 as well, because that 44 could have easily come off that wall and could have wrecked both him, the 16, and possibly others. Like right there, you see Robert Malikian in the 22 machine. Could have wrecked them. Could have wrecked, James Wallace, Wayne Grossi, Ryan Hedrick. That could have been a big moment. So good job by Chris Beck for keeping it in the wall, not coming down really abruptly to get down and get off the wall. So that could have been major. You saw the 16 LaFrance right there off turn number 2. He got a little bit loose as well. So handling on these race cars already starting to really play a factor. We are almost a second and a half difference from these guys' best lap times compared to what they're running now here on lap 33.
Yeah, 100% here as we're still just everyone's single file, Jason, but the same token, there's a lot of people as you're seeing like this battle here with the 75 and the 37, this being TJ Bartel and Brian Dublé. There's just a lot of people that are just nose to tail waiting to pounce, but they're not making the move because they're protecting their tires. As the 44 Chris Beck is now under fire by the 22 Robert Maliki, and that's now for 14th. As the 16 has started to pull away from the 44. There's a lot of racing that could potentially happen, but these guys are just taking it so easy around this track right now as we're on lap 34. So we got 17 laps left before we're going to see that stage break. But before we get there, I think we're going to take our time and do our first picture-in-picture commercial break. We'll be back with you guys shortly. And back to full screen action here, and not much has changed on the field since we kicked it over to commercial break, other than Brody Hanna sorry, I said Brody, I don't know why, he's not even in the race. Richie Coy, his teammate, the 19 there, he's got a 7.2 second lead over second place, Austin Gassion, but Austin and Jeff are just neck and neck, only a half a tenth that last lap by. But now 31's under fire again by a Jamie Knopp, continuing to just be a tenth or two away. But the 84 has closed in a little bit more, and now the 51 of Elder's gotten even closer. But these guys have been this way, Jason, for probably the past 20 laps. They just kind of button it up a little closer, and the 84 of Jamie is going to take it. The 31 is actually going to lift allow Jamie to take over the podium spot in third place.
Yeah, and that's a great piece of driving there by Jeff Chandler to just know that he didn't want to put up a fight, didn't want to waste any more tires, wanted to try to save as many stage points as he can because now he's all the way back to fourth. Could lose fifth or sixth here. That's a couple extra points he doesn't want to lose, maybe, for the overall championship, Season B as well. But yeah, the one driver, though, that I'm really looking at, too, is Brandon Elder. We talk about him week in and week out, how good he is at driving through the field. He doesn't really ever have good qualifying runs. But, like, tonight, he had a great run, and he's inside the top 5. Now he's back to 6th right now. He'll easily let the 06 get around him right there off turn number 4. Great driving tonight by Brandon Elder. I just don't know if he has the car like he usually does, like we've seen in recent weeks, where he's able to go all the way up to the front super quickly, and then we're like, oh, what's he going to do? What's he going to do? And then something happens, and we don't get to see it. Maybe tonight's the night we get to see Brandon Elder get to victory lane if something happens. Maybe tonight's he gets the top 3 and gets to talk to us up here in the booth. We'll have to see. And also Sherwood Williford up 3 spots from where he started. This is a great run for that number 33 machine here tonight as well. And he's looking to try to pounce here on Brown and Elder going down the straightaway.
Yeah, 51 of Brandon Elder, B Custom Racing, just continuing to slowly get better and better and better. And this time he is holding his own in 6th place here. Started 7th, so just a very consistent drive here by Mr. Elder. And he's just like everybody else, just taking it nice and easy here. We have 6 laps left before we're going to see stage break, which I think a lot of people are going to be very happy to get their cars tweaked for that little bit of edge, because right now everyone is driving just what the next gen car is. They're driving the same exact parts with the same exact this and that. So the only real difference is the driver. This has open setup, but it doesn't look like it because everyone is just driving at the same exact pace, it seems like, for such a long time at this point.
Yeah, and obviously you're starting to put apart the men from the boys, at least just for the end of this first stage. Obviously, you're going to be heading into the next stage, which is going to be over, or less than 150 laps. So that's really going to be the testament to how well these drivers are going to do, what the steps are going to do. So if you're going to make those adjustments, you better make them right here, because you're going to have more time to make those adjustments now than per se you would be on the racetrack during green flag conditions. So maybe if you're Jeff Chandler, maybe you're going to make a tire pressure adjustment. If you're Brandon Elder, you're going to make a track bar adjustment. You're Richie Coy, maybe you want to take it down and click on the wedge. You don't know that. Maybe you want to put a different spring, put some tape on the grill, whatever it might be. There's so many different adjustments you can make with these open setups when you do pit here. So we'll have to see. But if you're Richie Coy, you're probably not touching that number 19 Advanced Auto Parts Ford at all, because he is running lap times about half a second quicker than some of these guys. Looking down right now at the leaderboards, the only driver I am seeing who's running lap times that are even near his is Tyler Granat in the number 81. He's all the way back in 8th place right now with a 31.985. Coy with a 32.094 that last time around, which was a 31.7 the time before that. So Richie Coy starting to feel a little bit of tire wear, but he's also dealing with some lap traffic. But that 19 is really hooked up tonight here as he's trying to go back-to-back.
Yeah, he's got a great opportunity to do so here. Jumping over to the chats, I see Zach Wapples in there saying, keep pushing Ryan. Ryan's doing a really good job so far, holding a very consistent wheel, though he has lost a few points. He definitely needs to get that corrected, but outside of that, he's doing a hell of a job so far, just like a lot of these other guys are, just keeping it nice and clean. Pit road is closed. That signals less than 2 to go before we're going to see stage caution here. And look at these groups of cars right here. This is for, what, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. They're all just almost underneath an entire blanket here. Richie Coy's going to take the white flag here on stage. 10.3 seconds. That is absolutely insane. But everybody else there, presented by Butt Kicker, our current battle on track. Knopf, Gaucion, Chandler, Simmons, Elder. Look at that. They're all within 1 second or so of each other. So in total. So final time around turn 1 and 2 on this stage. No passing. It looks like it's going to happen at least through 1 and 2. Let's see if there's any takers here in 3 and 4.
And we'll have to see. Richie Coy, though, easily going to come home with the stage victory here. Down the front straightaway. Almost gets to put Kyle Milliken there a lap down. So that is a big saving grace for Kyle Milliken. Here comes Jamie Knopp to finish second. It looks like nobody's making any passes to the line. No, nobody will make any passes there. Only waiting for LaFrance and Brannigan. Across the line they go. Caution will wave. Presented by Roasted Gems Coffee. That's the first caution flag of the night. It ends up being the stage. The stage goes to Richie Coy.
And as they wind down, we're going to kick it over to our second picture-in-picture. And when we come back, we're going to go over the Nerd TV Top 10 recap. Stay tuned.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
And back to full screen action here as pit stops have completed, and no surprise that 19 Richie Coy comes out P1, so he'll be restarting this thing in first place. We're going to go over our top 10 recap here. Not too much movement inside this top 10 as we usually see, just because it's New Hampshire and how these cars are driving so far. It's a very stable set of cars out here, but Richie Coy, obviously P1, is going to be leading every single lap. He did pass Austin Gassion, or Jeff Chandler rather, in the very first set of corners and has not looked back ever since. Had that stage by 10.5 seconds. Second place, number 84 of Jamie Knopp, up one spot. He did start third and second. This is going to be the highest we've seen him run. Can he have anything in store for the 19, at least on the early run? We're going to be bound to find out. Austin Gassion in third. He's up 2 spots from his 5th place starting spot. It's a very consistent drive for this Eastern Star Motorsports. He is actually the fastest guy on the team. They have not had the night they are looking for. They've been kicking so much butt recently, but the 99 is holding the team up. And so he's got 150 laps left to see what he can't do. Daniel Simmons in the 06. He's going to be restarting in 5th, or 4th rather, started in 6th. He's up 2 spots. The 31 of Jeff Chandler, your pole center, that's your biggest faller here so far, at least in the top 10, 1st to 5th. Tyler Grinnell up 3 from 9th to 6th. The 33 of Sherwood Williford up 3 spots. He's from 10th to 7th place. Brandon Elder is going to be restarting in 8th. Connor LaFrance also up 3 spots. He's in 9th. And then that last of the Eastern Stars Motorsports guys, Mark Brannigan Jr., one of the highest movers in the field, up 7 positions from 17th to 10th as they're going through turns 3 and 4. This time, pace car will dip down. Will this be the only caution flag of this race? That is probably my question to propose there for the chats, but the green flag is out. A little bit of a hiccup start there by the 84 Jamie Mott, Jason, as they go through 1.
Yeah, you're starting to see him go 2, almost 3 wide down into turn number 1. Connor LaFrance looked to go 3 wide for a second there, back throughout the 10th spot. He was able to duck back in line for second now, but you're seeing some double wide race in there between the 51 and also the 33 of Williford. One driver starting to blink a little bit, and that's the 88 actually of Mark Brannigan Jr. That is not something you want to see for a guy who is really close to being the points leader currently. So that's obviously a connection issue. Hopefully he can get that fixed pretty soon, or else he's probably going to end up disconnecting from the server.
Yeah, there's a lot of blinking there, and the admins are quickly to jump on that, and they're getting some race chatter already calling him out, saying you are blinking. So he needs to run that third groove, maybe fourth groove, let some people by, because that's a scary thought, man. You come into this race, you have a solid setup, you're going to finish inside the top 10 right around where he's at, and to be blinking like that, you don't want to ruin your race by somebody else's misfortune there on this internet connection.
So, you know, it's happened. I've seen it happen to guys leading events before over in the Northwest Truck Series. I've seen it happen to guys leading, you know, purse-winning events. It really does suck. You do not want that to happen. And, I mean, he is continuing to surge in and out with his internet connection. So, hopefully, knock on wood, never mind. I have commentators curse. Mark Brannigan Jr. wants to get that settled in as quickly as possible. Richie Coy just posted the fastest lap time of the race, 30.825 last time around. And we have our second Roasted Gems coffee caution flag of the night.
The 57.
Yeah, Josh Johnson.
Yeah, he is in the wall in turn 1 here, and it looks like we've collected a couple other guys. The 75 and TJ Bartel, the Ford Chad Lang. 3 wide, Bartel had no idea, and a little sandwich to the outside wall, and man, TJ Bartel hit where the start of the safer barrier is, and that hooked his car around for several rotations. But looks like the 4 and the 57, on the other hand, kind of escaped that one.
Yeah, it looks like they escaped it. But here, you know, Josh Johnson, he's already making a run up on that outside, the 4. And right here, you're seeing, I believe you said that was Dublé or TJ Bartel. Yeah, that was Bartel. You just see him. They're not even aware probably that the 57 is coming on the outside, and especially the 75, because he's being told 3 wide. He doesn't know how much room he has. Obviously, they all just squeeze. Racing incident there. I mean, obviously could have used a little bit more, you know, knowledge right there, common sense, you could call it, I guess. But that's common. It happens. You know, we've seen that happen at every racetrack on the circuit. We've seen it happen this season. No harm, no foul, really. But the 75 of TJ Bartel definitely got the worst of it there heading into turn 1, Jeremy.
Yeah, 100%. We're going to go full speed here this time. Just the 4 knew he was there, but the 75, that's in the right rear corner. That is the biggest blind spot you'll have in any car if you're sitting on the left-hand side of a vehicle. And to have another car directly side by side of you, and if you don't have a physical spotter there and you're just relying on the iRacing spotter, it might not pick up that 3 wide. And so you're just guessing. You're like, okay, he's 2 wide. I have a little more room to shove him up how high. I'm going to maximize my corner entry. And the 57 was like, no, guys, I'm here. And that's what happened there. Not any malicious intent or anything of that nature. It's just, you know, complete racing accident there. But we're going to try to bring in one of our in-race reporters presented by iRock 93.5 rock station out there in the Illinois area. We're going to try to bring in our race leader, Mr. Richie Coy, see if he wants to have a chat with us. 19 of Richie Coy, this is Jeremy from the Nerd TV booth. You got a copy?
What's up, nerds? How's it going?
Well, this is one of our more uneventful races of the season, I would say that. But on your side, though, that car is a complete rocket ship. How much time did you prepare this car so far? Because 10-second lead over that 50-lap first stage, that's a pretty impressive stuff, man.
Yeah, well, I only have one word for you. Team Watson Racing Setups.
Oh, there you go. Okay, that'll do the trick. So,
well, actually, I didn't have a lot of time. Who's counting?
Yeah, right.
We didn't have a lot of time to prepare, so we went with you know, with an off-the-shelf setup, and it's a rocket ship, man.
Yeah, no kidding. The temperatures have dropped down a little bit from practice. I noticed a lot of people were slipping, sliding in practice. Has that kind of gone away out there? Do you feel like your car's gotten a little more stable from that, even though you had any problems with it already?
It's weird. So it was loose the first stint where the car would want to get loose off the corners, and then right at the end of that stint, I guess the temperature was going down, and even at the beginning of this stint, car's getting a little tight coming off, and then it snaps loose. So
All right, 10-4 on that. You got 1 lap left. We're going to send you back to your channel there. Good luck the rest of the way, man.
all right, guys, hold on. Hopefully, it will be somewhat eventful, but not too crazy.
It's looking pretty racy. It has the potential. It's just we're going to see it probably a little bit later on, but good luck, man.
All right, thanks.
And that was the number 19, Richie Coy, throwing out one of our sponsors here for the Nerditudes, Team Watson Racing Setups. Obviously, if you're looking for a setup for New Hampshire, Richie Coy is putting it on full display here. You see it right there. So if you have what it takes and want to run with some of the best guys in the business and just want to have a really fast car like the 19 of Richie Coy, look no further. TeamWatsonRacing.com. They got you, and they're going to put you in victory lane at least at New Hampshire. Pace car is down. These guys are going back to green flag on lap 64. Green flag is out. And the 19 with a great start over the second place, Jamie Knopp.
And Jamie Knopp may have gotten a good start, but noticing something right now going on in the SDK live timing. Mark Brannigan Jr., I believe, looks to be out of this race, and that is huge in the point standings right now. Mark Brannigan coming into the points with 20 points out of Richie Coy's lead, and Brannigan looks to be out early here in the night due to connection issues tonight, Jeremy.
That's definitely a shame for sure. Hate to see that there for anybody in particular, but those restarts a little more active, Jason, than what we saw on the first couple here, especially just outside the top 5. There's a couple guys getting really squirrely on corner exit here. Now there's 3 cars training on the bottom here, trying to get around. It looks like the 51 to Brandon Elder, but the 51 just has so much grip on corner entry there, just can't sustain it though. Is going to file right behind the 33.
Yeah, and everybody's starting to single file. Oh, one car just shot down to the inside retaining wall. I don't know if it's going to cause a caution. It doesn't look like it. Might have been TJ Bartel, I believe, in the 75 machine. It was. He got shot to the inside wall. I don't know if there was any contact, but we might have to get a replay on that one. All 4, you saw him single filing out, and all of a sudden that 75 machine just shot to the inside wall here as you're looking from the replay. Oh, he just got loose and pow, right into the wall. That's definitely going to be a broken toe link probably on that machine there, and he just came into the pits this time around.
Yeah, one of the drivers from that 3-driver split there, driving by himself for Lone Wolf Esports, had got involved in that last caution, and this one, couple laps into the run, just kicks loose. And these next-gen cars with these low-profile tires, there's not much forgiveness. So he kicked loose, didn't really save it, and once he turned that wheel left and it hooked, it was all but over there, hits the inside wall, and he's going to have quite a few minutes of repair to that 75 to get the thing back up and running.
Hard to save these cars, obviously, with, we continuously talk about it as you look at a replay here between the 7 of Grassi and the 81 of Gernot. He almost did the same thing that Bartel did just a lap and a half, 2 laps ago. But back to my point, these cars are a lot harder to save, especially on short tracks due to the new rack and pinion steering. They're not the same like they were with the Gen 6, with the Gen 5, or the COT, you could call it the Gen 4 and whatnot. These things have a rack and pinion steering system. It makes it kind of a little bit more snappy when you're trying to save a race car. Things a little bit more touchy, a little bit more flimsy. That's the best way that I can interpret it as a sim driver, obviously having some time in the next gen car. But these guys, they're showing some real gains here recently since we went back green. Wayne Grassi up 10, Robert Malikian, he's up right now +4. He's having another stellar night tonight in that 22, but he's nearly hit Gernot the last 2 turns here as they head on lap 70 down the back straightaway.
Got to be careful on those tires slide there, man. That 81 is there running his line, and that was oh so close. He's going to give up the entrance, but the 7 of Wayne Grassi thought he was going to drive it in deeper. He had to get on the binders, and now Ryan Chapman for a moment had the nose underneath, but the 7 gets loose once again. He hits the brakes hard and saves it. That was a good job there to do that, knowing if he would have kept it on the gas, he might have hit the wall, but That's going to cost them a few more spots. Now going to run side by side with the 67 of James Wallace. This is now going to be a battle for 15th.
Yeah, and that was just a little bit of too much gas there, too much throttle off turn number 4 for Wayne Grassi. So hopefully he doesn't have to do that third time, because if it ends up being a third time, he'll probably end up going around. But these guys are having some great battles throughout the entire field. You've seen Ryan Chapman defending that position off from Rob Tracy. Chad Lang trying to make his way back up through the field after being involved in that recent caution just a handful of laps ago. And that's the guy right there on his outside who finished top 5 at Atlanta last week, pushes them wide off too. They make it clean through the corner. But Rob Tracy looking to have another good night tonight, -2 from where he started 11th. Rob Tracy almost could have won last week at Atlanta, and here he is having a good night in 13th. But here's a replay. Josh Johnson doing a little bit of Formula Drift there in the center of 1 and 2, able to almost save it. Oh, wow. And there was no yellow there because nobody was around him. So that's interesting to see. Usually if there were been a little bit more closer proximity to cars around him, that probably would have ended up being a caution. So good job by producer Dustin Logston to end up catching that, because due to it being no caution, we would have never seen that happen. Josh Johnson thankfully loops it back around, continues on, and we stay green.
That's 2 of the guys out of those 3 cars that wrecked on that last caution that have had issues at 57 on Johnson. That the latest one there, then TJ Bartel slammed the wall about 10 to 15 laps prior. I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but that's just something I've noticed. But these guys are still continuing to be a little more racier than the last restart. Still some 2x2s throughout the field. I got a couple more cars blinking. I think it was the 81 who actually blinked through 3 and 4, Tyler Granat. I forget how that's pronounced correctly. But him and the 4, Chad Lang, just cannot get away from each other. Still side by side, at least momentarily. The 4 gets a great launch entering turn number 1, is actually able to stick the corner entry and clear the 81 off of 2.
Yeah, and if you're Tyler Granat, you obviously don't want to be blinking right now, because he blinked again heading into turns 1 and 2. And if you're the 07, the 11 behind him, you obviously don't want to see that, because next thing you know, you're trying to pass him. He blinks in. You don't know where the heck he's at. And then he comes back in. Next thing you know, you make contact, you go around, you wreck yourself, you wreck him, whatnot. And Tyler's continuing to have connection issues similar to Mark Brannigan beforehand. You see right now, currently no issues.
Oh, Ryan Chapman
around in front of the field. Hard contact for Solari and Granat. Wow, Ryan Chapman just loops it around in front of the field, and that's going to bring out the 3rd caution of the night.
Granat not in the right spot there around the track, as we're going to go to the Nerd
You're
TV
funny.
replay. I know, I try. But here we go. The 27 just runs a clean corner here. Just hits that transition between the 1st and 2nd lane and just has a quick 360. And those guys have nowhere to go. Stacks up. The 11 runs into the back of the 81. And the 4 of Chad Lang had a void. He hits him in the quarter. Doesn't have any damage, really. So 4 cars in total on this wreck on the 3rd caution presented by Roasted Jim's Coffee.
That was really weird. But you know what, though? We've seen that happen. Talked about it, too, in pre-race, Jeremy, with you and Dustin. You get onto that transition, you try to put the power down off 2 from diming the corner, and you just loop it around, and you get loose one or the other. And unfortunately, it ended up being the bad deal, the short end of the stick there for Ryan Chapman. But hey, not really any damage. Maybe we can get one more replay here, possibly, just to see how bad it is. But I don't really think he made any contact with anybody. I mean, the 81 and the 11, they hit the wall pretty hard, but they should easily be able to repair that. Here we go. Taking a look, you're going to see right here, gets a little bit on that transition, just like you talked about, Jeremy. You saw those left sides dip a little bit, and a little bit of contact to the right front, but nothing too bad there. What's really going to be the impact is the 11 and the 81, because they hit that outside wall a ton, but not nearly the same as what Bartel did earlier on the front stretch on that left side.
And it doesn't look like there's any safer barrier in that part of the wall. So the entire car and the concrete wall absorbed that impact, nothing else. But as these guys are cycling through with the 84, staying out at least for a lap, so he's going to get himself a lap led. The first lap Richie Coy has not led through the 78 laps this evening. We'll see if the 84 comes down pit road, and does not look like he wants to. So this guy's going to be restarting knowing that the tire wear is not as bad as what we initially expected. But we're going to go to picture-in-picture. We're going to kick it back here right before the drop of the green flag. And back to full screen coverage here. We have a half a lap before we're going to hit green flag for the 4th time this evening. I'm going to be restarting on lap 81. And for the first time all race long, we are seeing a new race leader, minus Jeff Chandler at the very, very beginning of this race. I mean, when I say beginning, I mean the first corner. Jamie Knopp's going to be restarting Richie Coy on the outside here. Now, the tire wear is not huge at this track so far, of what we've noticed, but we were talking about a bunch of different strategies for this 84 as we go back to green flag here. He gets a good restart this time. Let's see if he can hold off the 19. I know the 19's super fast here through 1 and 2, and yeah, there's just no match. The 19 outdrives him through 1. He's going to outdrive him on exit on 2. Goodbye. See you later, 19. We'll see you next caution here. But the 99 of Austin Gassion is also going to try to make an attempt to pass Jamie here early.
And if Gassion can maybe get clear of Knopp here off turn number 4, he might have something to go after Richie Coy with. But Jamie Knopp holding strong, almost 3 wide there. Almost put Jeff Chandler in the middle there. Deja vu to last week where Austin Gassion was on that bottom lane and started to come up in front of a car who was right in the middle trying to make a pass. Thankfully, they got through clean. But Richie Coy right now just shot out of a cannon as Knopf gets a little bit loose, had to back out of the throttle. He'll jump back to 4th, about to lose 5th to Mr. Sherwood Williford up here, jumping inside the top 5 into 3.
Having a little bit of tire smoke entering 3, had to lock it up momentarily as he's underneath the 22, Robert Malikian, who clears it. Oh, and it looks like the 51 of Brandon Eldridge smashes the outside wall, spins out in front of the field. Ryan Hedrick involved with it. Here's a 67 to 37 to 57. 3 of the 4 guys from Boomerang Motorsports all involved in this wreck here. 67, 57, 30, and 47. So all 4 Boomerang drivers involved in this wreck.
I just want to say, we got to look at Tyler Granat when we look at this full replay. If we look at a second replay, we got to go from Tyler Granat's point of view. Because, I mean, I think he might have damage. But, I mean, he barely snuck by right there. Down the front straightaway, you can't really tell from right there, but hard impact from the 47 to the 51 right there. You see the 07 Rob Tracy, last week's 5th place finisher. He gets involved. The 4 of Chad Lang, lots of guys. And off the corner, you just see, as we're looking right here from Josh Johnson, he tries to back it down, gets through, unfortunately, because he thinks the 51 is going to stay up. Doesn't see him cutting down a little bit. And here comes Tyler Granat right there. That 81 machine comes through. I really don't know if he makes contact right here. Here he goes, misses 2 cars, 3 cars. Locks up, doesn't hit the wall. Tyler Granat made it right through that wreck with no damage. Talk about wreck avoidance of the year. Tyler Granat, you have earned it, my friend. And here we go. Perfect onboard. Off 4. Sees the wreck, starts to back it down, starts locking it up, notices he's going to hit that inside wall if he doesn't lock it up here. You see Ryan Chapman tries to get through. They're wrecking up in front of them. This is like Talladega right here, or what we saw last week. There he goes. That's 1 car, 2 cars right here, and then you can't tell me otherwise. Oh my gosh.
There's no planning that. You're just guessing and turning the wheel and hopefully put the 81 with the save of the year. Probably the save of the FTSR existence when it comes to wreck avoidance. This is the flip of the coin though. We switch over here. One more time, goes to the bottom, full speed. You're just okay. Oh no, there's cars left, right. Oh no. We're gonna take one more look at this. Gonna try to float with the awesome drone camera coming right from the cockpit here. Watch just. There's like, 2 inches separation between the 67 and the 81 there. There's a slight scratch to the bumper. I don't know if that's even evolved from that wreck, but that's stupid impressive. Not only a flip of the coin, if you go over to the 47 of Ryan Hedrick, one of the Boomerang guys involved, if we can try to watch his onboard, he had no idea there's going to be a huge wreck. Watch, there's cars in front. All of a sudden, they just split the gap, and wham, just the doors opened right for the 51 to get T-boned. He had no idea it was going to be right in front, parked on the front stretch.
Yeah, and that was really just a factor of not being able to see over the cars in front of him, because you think that car in front of you starts to spin. In my mind, I think what Ryan Hedrick probably thought, Jeremy, was that car spun off 4 or made contact with somebody and was going to get shot to the inside concrete wall, but unfortunately didn't. And unfortunately, Ryan Hedrick, thinking that, probably just got involved right there. So Very unfortunate. A lot of guys who had some good nights going. Chad Lang, Rob Tracy, Brandon Elder, of course. Talked about him earlier. 3 of those guys out for the night. Heavy, heavy damage, it looks like. Chad Lang might be able to continue here, depending on how much his damage is. But it looks like those guys are safely, to say, out for the night.
Yeah, and just the 2 talking points on that. One's been a quiet night up until stage 2, about 20 laps into it, and then Boomerang Motorsports in that wreck. There's one of your drivers. There's 2 of your drivers. All of them in pit road repairing all this damage that they have just occurred in this big one at New Hampshire, which there's a wall directly to the left and wall directly to the right. There's no escaping by going through the grass. There's no huge tri-oval to try to, cut the course. You're just in it there. You're a pinball inside of a little case. And when your teammates are all running the same setups and you're all running close by and a wreck happens like that, literally no chance of escaping. All 4 drivers, Jason, just completely destroyed, at least from the lead lap.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate, but that's the thing, man. Racing is unpredictable. You never know what's going to happen, what's going to happen. I mean, there's just so many factors compared to other sports, and that's the great thing about motorsports is everybody has a chance more than half the time.
Green flag is out this time. Richie Coy rightfully earns that lead there, just completely. This turn 1 and turn 2, he runs there. At least he's going to run to the bottom this time, but he's able to just have so much more grip than anybody that's going to be starting alongside him on these restarts. Clears the 99 by 2 car lengths exiting the corner here. The first 4 is going to be clear, and looks like 5th place, the 16 and the 06 are going to be side by side here going through turn 3.
Yeah, everybody's starting to get single file, and everybody 2 behind them, double wide. You see Wayne Grossi side by side with Robert Milicki and also Daniel Simmons. That's up in front of them, and then Jamie Knopf behind them, along with Tyler Granat, with the guy who I'm going to call Mr. Save of the Year, I guess you could say. They're starting to single file out as Milicki looks to try to pass the 7 of Grossi, not able to do it, and they are able to roll top better, and that brings in the 84 of Jamie Knopf. He'll be to the outside here of the 7 off turn number 4.
And trying to make some moves here for sure. Coming off corner exit, not clear of the 84 that time. At least off the corner exit, going through turn 1. The 84 drives it in deep. Try to utilize that little extra grip there in that 3rd lane. And it's keeping them momentarily side by side with Wayne Grossi off of 2.
Great battle right here between the 7 of Wayne Grossi and the 84 of Jamie Knopf. They're going to head into 3 and 4, still side by side. Oh, and look at that. 1 car up the racetrack. Talk about a lockup. That's Daniel Simmons in the 06 machine. Oh, and Wayne Grossi loose off turn number 4. A lot of guys starting to have some issues here on lap 91. Good save by the 7, but also good save and good job not locking up, hitting the wall, collecting anybody by Daniel Simmons, as he's now under fire from the 27 of Chapman.
Another issue too, the 37 of Brian Duplay off a turn 2 that last lap. Gets loose, spins out, and just, I think, nudged the inside guardrail there. Didn't hurt anybody or wasn't in the way of anyone, but just lost almost an entire lap's worth of time getting back to the track surface here. But now he is up and rolling, as we're going to kick it over to Nerd T Replay and see the 37 get loose, locks it up, slide. And as we're watching this replay here, as he avoids the wall, we have our 5th caution now presented by Roasted Gems Coffee on the circuit. Trying to see what happened there exactly. Maybe the 81, I'm not too sure. Trying to listen to the radio chat, see what was going on. Yeah, right in front of the 81, looks like 22 Malikian. Coming through turn 1 and 2.
When the 06 locks up, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, what a chain of events. That was so weird. It's like the 06 locked it up again. Deja vu to turn 3 a handful of laps ago. You see right here, locks up the left front heading into the corner, and then all of a sudden the car starts rolling and the thing just goes straight, and it's like it never turns.
Yeah, I was watching the onboard too from his hands, and he didn't turn right at all. It just, as soon as he let go of that brake, that car just turned right for whatever reason. And then there's the mayhem ensuing on the passenger side here of the 27. Ryan Chapman gets through that one. A little bit of drift there on the bottom as he just barely escapes that one. But man, I'm with you. That was a really weird situation there with the tire lockup and then turning right.
Yeah, we're taking a great look right here into the corner, locks it up. All of a sudden, oh my, yeah, he just had that thing cranked to the left. Nothing he could do. It was just getting on the brakes too hard from a hard entry point. And unfortunately, Robert's going to bite the bullet there heading into one. Other drivers also involved, Tony Solari, Tyler Granat. Unfortunately, he's not going to get through this one. He was involved as well. So some good drivers got involved right there. Robert Malikian probably being the #1 driver who was having a great night tonight again. And unfortunately, he had some contact there, so he's going to be in the pits trying to take some damage repair.
And producer Dustin likes to call this guy the Heartbreak Kid. And, well, for reasons like this. And going to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, which quite happens to be the sponsor on the side panel, the 22. That's going to be Martin Sports, small company with a big-time product, home of the gloves and all of sim racing. Makes the most breathable and durable gloves on the sim racing market that you have ever seen. But they don't stop there. They also specialize in fully customized sublimation printing on everything from team uniforms to shirts, hoodies, now hats with custom embroidering, and they all allow for 0 restrictions on color, which allows for the absolute fastest turnaround in the business. So if you're looking to step up your apparel game for anything, whether it be sports related or sim racing, check out martinsports906.com or martinsports.gg. Either way, and then that green text there on the bottom of your screen, promo code SUPERNERD. It's going to save you a whopping 25% off anything you purchase from martinsports.gg.
Yeah, and 25% off is obviously a huge amount. Most companies only do 10. Well, Mr. Scott Martin's doing 25%. Y'all should definitely go check him out. Obviously, great website, big partner over here for us at Nerd TV. Does a lot for the sim racing community, especially here in the FTSR.
Yeah, he's got sponsorship all over sim racing, and
He's the
really
GOAT, man.
loves to do it. He really is. Like anywhere he can help out, puts in money just because he wants to, throws out some sponsorship. Doesn't have to be a lot. Like this guy is just doing a lot to promote anybody and everybody. So huge shout out. We'd love to shout out Martin Sports anytime we can. Jason, these guys are side by side. We're gonna have our 6th time we're gonna see the green flag fly. This time is going to be just shy of halfway on lap 97.
I think it's going to be interesting to point out here, Jeremy, is now that Austin Gassione is going to get a chance side by side with Richie Coy. I think it's going to be interesting to see if Austin can get a jump like Richie does. Obviously, the top's been rolling a lot better, not only down the front straightaway, but obviously through the center of 1 and 2 and off the corner. So maybe if Gassione could stay right here with Coy, he might be able to try and reach up there and just grab that lead from him. But that Team Watson Racing setup number 19 car is really, really fast.
Yeah, 100%. I expect him to clear everybody and then some before we get to turn 3. Green flag is out. The 19 already passing the 99 completely, entering turn number 1. And just like that, he is gone. See you later again. The 7 almost tags the back of Ryan Chapman through turn 1, but the 27 clears him. He's going to clear an extra. We're going to have the 6th caution presented by Roasted Gems Coffee. This time going to be coming off of turn number 1 and 2. The number 07 of Robert Tracy looks like involved in this one.
Yeah, and we're taking a look right here into the corner. Oh, this is just totally different.
Oh.
The 47 just gets into the 44. I don't know if that was, not trying to stir up anything. I don't know if that was just on purpose. And then obviously Rob Tracy's trying to get slowed down. He doesn't know what's going on. And then unfortunately just locks it up, spins out. And then they're still wrecking off turn number 2. I don't know if that was intentional or if that was just a misjudgment on Hedrick's part, because the 44 was running his own line. Nothing wrong that Chris Beck did. Just the 47 came in like Miley Cyrus's Wrecking Ball song right there. And unfortunately took out the 44. And then the 07 there, Rob Tracy comes along in, tries to lock it up, and make sure to avoid it. And he does, but unfortunately he's going to burn up those tires by going around in 1 and 2. And he almost gets hit by the 47, but good job staying off the wall and staying off anybody.
If he was playing one of them drift games where you try to maximize your points on one continuous slide, I think he's got the championship for that one alone. What a hell of a slide there to not hit. And good heads up for the 47 of Hedrick to not, actually hit him as he slid back across his car. I think this is a good opportunity, Jason, to bring in our second 2 of 2 in race reporters. This is going to be the number 27 of Ryan Chapman, coming from Elevated Esports. 27, Ryan Chapman. This is Jeremy in the Nerd TV booth. You have a copy.
I do, guys. What's up?
Hey, man. Stage 1 was quite uneventful. And then we talked to Richie right at the stage break, essentially, and he said there's going to be a little more action. And then we've had 6 cautions. And you've been a part, at least somewhat, just like that last one where you barely squeaked out, or at least the one before that. Just walk us through what's changed. Is it just the momentum of everyone just trying to get a little faster, or is it just natural the track, or what's going on out there?
I think it's aggression. Everyone's trying to get what they can, and even though it's still really, really early in the race, I just feel like a lot of people are starting to drive in a little harder and locking up the brakes, including myself. But I just think it's just trying to drive it in too hard, trying to get what you can get, and people are just sliding like the cup race today. They're all over the place, and it's kind of how it is right now. That's how we were in the first stage, at least, but we made some big swings, and now we're starting to come back. It sucks that Robert got taken out in that last one, but he's still up here, and we're going to try to make a run to the front.
Yeah, just completely just innocent victim there off of turn 1 and 2. Sucks to see that, but and Dustin in my ear, I think our producer said that Scott Martin loves the paint scheme too, so that does look like a really sick scheme. But we're not partial to the black, greens, and white combination. Now we'll forget that part of it. But Jason, do you have anything for Ryan before we let him go?
Nah, man, just go out and go dig and have some fun.
Oh, guys, of course, we're going to keep digging. Hopefully we can get up there and battle with these guys.
Oh, good luck to you. Hopefully you can get up there and mix it up a little bit. We got 1 to go. We're going to let you back to your channel. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you, guys. Have fun.
Yes, sir. Appreciate the drivers, Richie and Ryan, both coming in here and talking to us underneath caution. I actually did not expect to have 6 cautions to talk to people. I thought we were going to see stage break, and that's why I proposed the question, are we going to only have 1 caution? Well, you see that yellow banner on the top right? It says 6th, so I guess I was completely wrong on that. But Richie called it, though. He said action's going to pick up, and here we are.
And this is going to be interesting too, Jeremy. Again, Austin Gassion is going to have another shot, but man, just this 19 machine so fast on the restarts. And look who he's brought in to the top 3 right here. Sherwood Williford right up on that outside. He's going to have a great restart for sure.
Here we go. Restart is out. 7th green flag, the 27. A little bit of tire spin that time. As you said, yeah, Sherwood Williford up 7 spots there on this restart. Going to maybe hold 3rd place here. Richie obviously in a league of his own. The 33 is going to use that grip in the 3rd lane to move up side by side, at least for just a moment on the 99. But such a great drive from Austin Gassion off of turn 2. We're going to separate now the top 3 and single file all the way until about 10th.
Some great racing throughout the rest of the field. Back in the back of the pack, Robert Milikian starting to come back. After that wreck that he had a handful of laps ago, obviously Tyler Granat there as well. They both run 10th and 12th. And keep in mind, too, only 15 cars out of the 28 that we had started are on the lead lap right now. Daniel Simmons, your first car, I believe it's Chris Beck, first car 1 lap down here. And the rest of the field, though, still side by side back behind the leaders. Milikian is looking to clear him. He will. That's Steve Loomis in the 17 machine. And now Milikian will look to go after Wayne Grossi in the number 7 and also Connor LaFrance in the 16 as they head through 2.
44 Chris Beck, part of that last caution on pit road twice since the drop of the green flag. Currently sitting in that pit stall. I think the second pit stop came from a penalty because he pitted right when he got to the pit wall, which that's way too late on the commitment cone there. So serving his penalty, he's going to go several laps down after that. Richie already out to a half a second lead. And yeah, this is if they can continue to just single file this out, Jason, I think we're going to have a long green flag run, which these guys have been wanting to do. So this is a longer race time-wise, not lap-wise, just timing. For the season, so they just want to get this thing done and over with at this point.
Yeah, for sure, and I guarantee if it wasn't for Richie Coy's Team Watson Racing setups, setup in that number 19 machine, these guys would be having a heck of a battle, but that TWRS setup is just way too quick for these guys here tonight. 30.731 just a couple laps ago for Richie Coy, setting another fastest lap of the race, despite having some tire wear on that number 19 machine. So Richie, even despite tire wear here, Jeremy, is still fast. Last pitted on lap 77. And obviously, they're on lap 106 coming to lap 108. But a couple guys, a little bit of contact there in the back between the 33 and the 99 off turn 4. A couple guys to keep an eye on, Jeremy. Jamie Knopf, Ryan Chapman, obviously. Ryan involved in a little bit of, a scuffle earlier on. Jamie Knopf had a solid night. They both pitted on lap 84, so they have somewhat a little bit fresher tires, but they're duking it out right now, heading down the back straightaway into 3.
This is an excellent race. They made contact last time off of turn 4. The 33 is going to muscle his way into second place. Jeff Chandler here from Hyperforce Esports trying to get himself back into third. He is all but clear of the 99 entering turn number 1. And I think between now and turn 2, he's going to get that clear, which he does so. Third place belongs to 31. Quickly on the chat, Scott Martin has had his ear ringing. Heard us talking about him, so he jumps on the chats. His last one says, the in-car interview is a great addition. Nicely done. Appreciate that. So that's all to our producer, Dustin, with his excellent ideas. I'd like to thank him for that as well. But this racing right here inside this top 10, Jason, it is pretty awesome at the moment.
Yeah, Walter's always got a lot of great ideas. Inside the booth.
Walter.
Don't call me that. But hey, these guys are still having a heck of a battle. And I talked about earlier when Jeff Chandler was sliding back, Jeremy. Look at this, starting to march his way back up towards the front. Picked up 1, about to pick up 2 spots now as he looks to the inside of the 33 of Wilford. He'll just clear him off the corner. Jeff Chandler starting to show some speed here late in this race. Last time around, 31.179 to Coy's 0.106. So a little bit slower by about 0.07 of a second, but he is really fast right now. And talked about too, Jeremy, 24th or worse the last 2 races. This would be a great opportunity for Jeff Chandler here if he were to come home on the podium spot. And some contact between the 27 of Chapman and the 99 of Gassio. No room given there off turn number 4. Ryan Chapman is doing just what I told him to do and go out there and dig. He moves up to the 4th spot.
That's twice now we've seen the 99 get donuts on the left-hand side of his car. And you know the rule of thumb when it comes to racing in general. If you got donuts on the left side of your car, you're being used up. And that was from the 27 of Chapman and from the 33 of Williford. So that puts him back currently P6 on the boards here. But yeah, Jeff Chandler has picked up the momentum coming to the line this time. Lost 0.2 to Richie Coy. But he had to pass some cars there before he got cleared of the competition. So I'll be curious to see if he can at least maintain 5 seconds on Richie if we get this long run.
Yeah, we'll have to see. And actually, Jeff ran the same lap time last time around. Koya 0.20. So, I mean, Koya is still faster, obviously, than the rest of the field. I think the thing that's going to play to effect is if we do get that super long green flag run until the next time when these guys have to pit, is will Richie's car fall off? But, I mean, even with a 50-lap run, Jeremy, we saw that thing pulled out to a 10-second lead. He's already out to a little bit over a 3-second lead over that number 31 machine. So I think Coy really has the car to beat right now. These guys are going to need a magic mile miracle here if they're going to want to try to beat Richie Coy here tonight as he goes for the sweep here for the New Hampshire week in the FTSR.
If the 44 battles him and nope, gives him all the room and then some. 19 passes the 44, no problem. Picked up another 0.2 on Jeff Chandler that lap. Doyle Lawrence in the chat saying, let's go, Jeff. He's got that momentum swing. He's back up and running his practice and qualifying time. So there might be something for him as we got 76 laps left in this race as they come to the line this time. And if we kick over the iRacing iFlag track map once again, we're going to see just this short stint here from that restart about, 15 laps or so ago? They're almost taking up a half a track once again. So this is very typical of New Hampshire at this point of a run. It's just, it gets really spacey.
It's really spacey, but even you could just see right here, chugga chugga choo choo. They're all flying down the back straightaway. Nobody can really get away from anybody. I mean, even Richie Coy, yeah, it's a 3-second gap right now. You could argue and say Richie Coy is able to pull away from everybody. Well, yeah, that's because Richie Coy is just in his own zip code tonight. He's what we all call the alien here on the iRacing servers, where you're just completely out of this world, and he is flying right now. But everybody else, Derby, just can't get away from one another. I mean, you see right there from Jeff Chandler all the way back to the last car heading off turn number 2, which I believe is Brian Dublé. Everybody is within 6 seconds of one another, so they're nose to tail. It's just going to be a matter of when the tires start to really wear out, will you be able to have that car that's going to be able to pass other drivers?
Yeah, 100% there. And this is just kind of like the 2000 race here where they had restricted plates on these things, where they just can't get away from each other. It almost looks like it just continued to be single file all the way back. But Jace, time to get your quackers ready. We're going to go turn up the tunes here and listen to these cars drive by the cameras around this track. We'll be back with you guys shortly. And that was Turn Up the Tunes here as we got to just listen in to all the sounds that these cars have to bring to New Hampshire here this evening. And this man, the 19 Richie Coy, well, is the last long run we had. He had a 10.5-second lead, and this guy is just advancing to do the same exact thing with that TWRS setup underneath his chassis. 4-second advantage now over second place. Jeff Chandler in the 31, who himself has got a 2.25 gap over third place Sherwood Williford in the 33. So very typical New Hampshire style. These things are getting pretty spaced out, but looking at this little pack here, I mean, kind of like a pack in a way. There's just about 3 car length separation between these guys here.
Yeah, for sure. And also keep in mind, last 2 laps, Jeff Chandler has been faster than Richie Coy by about half a second, you could say. So that number 30 or that number 31, a Bruzy Racewear car, is really, really fast here tonight. I mean, the gap keeps, dwindling between 3 3/4 seconds to 4 seconds. Last time around, Richie Coy a little bit faster that time by about half a second almost. So it's getting a little bit racy between those two. It's kind of like a competition of who could post the better lap time each lap. I don't know if maybe Jeff Chandler's car is faster on the super long run. Obviously, Doyle Lawrence in the chat said that car was set up for longer runs, because I'm guessing they hit the nail on the head with what we thought is that this race was going to be long and drug out, but it's been anything but that until about this point. Great battle, though, right here. Robert Milikian able to clear the 4 of Chad Lang, Tyler Granat. Those 3 are in a battle, and that's the battle for the 9th spot.
And Chandler duke it out here. The 4 running the faster lane between him and the 81 right here, coming off of turn 2. You see the track map or the track battle on off of turn 2 here. This is coming through turn 3. You see a lot of these guys that are just 1 second basically separation for the most of these cars in this battle section. That's 6 through 12. And it's just a blanket, just very reminiscent of what we saw earlier tonight, where everyone just played single file, follow the leader, not much passing going on. And when there's attempt, that outside lane just somehow just keeps that momentum rolling and able to keep it single file.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and that's the thing, though. We talk about it. New Hampshire can get long drug out, and this is really what you see is it's hard to pass, and everybody is almost bumper to bumper. I mean, unless you're Richie Coy, you got a nice TWRS set up under the chassis, like you said, Jeremy. But nevertheless, though, everybody else right behind them is just single file. Some guys peaking low. You see Wayne Grossi trying to get below Ryan Chapman, who's had a good comeback from his incident earlier on. He's inside the top 10, but everybody's just kind of riding in line right now, looking to try to make passes when they can. This track's just so flat and such a momentum building racetrack for these drivers. It's just so hard to do so.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've kind of noticed too, I was looking over the leaderboard, only half the field is on the lead lap right now, because we have that huge little section of just caution after caution after caution, which brought damage to a lot of these guys. 14 cars on the lead lap, 28 overall in this race. First guy in position here for a lucky dog is Daniel Simmons in the 06, but he's 2 laps down, so he's going to need 2 of those. And how this race is playing out at the moment, I mean, as long as there's not a mistake coming through pit road on the green flag stops at some point in time, there's not much opportunity here to gain your positions through a lucky dog, but just keep doing what you're doing and hold your spot. We're going to shout out one of our sponsors again, this time the Butt Kicker. They offer innovative hardware and software combinations designed to give passionate gamers a deeper level of gaming immersion. The Gamer 2 unit is the standard in the sim racing world. It gives racers the haptic transducer feel, which easily attaches to any center post gaming chair or sim rig. And this product allows any sim racer to get that much needed feel from the car that they drive to really perform at their peak performance. So if you're interested in maybe completing your sim rig with all the bumps and feels from the track in your sim rig, head over to thebuttkicker.com and see their product lineup today. Jumping over to the chats here. Doyle Lawrence is staying pretty active with us here, talking to Jeff Chandler through the chat, saying keep it nice and smooth. and also mention that Richie Coy is just on a completely different zip code, which I'm going to have to agree with you 100%.
Yeah, he definitely is here tonight. I mean, this number 19 machine is just so fast. You see him here off turn number 4, currently a 4th gear. He's going to move into 5th, and then right when he gets down into turn 1, you'll see that car go into 4th, shifting a little bit earlier, but probably because he wants better rotation on entry rather than through this center. So then obviously down the backstretch, shifts right here. And that number 19 machine just continuously, lap after lap, continues to be one of the fastest cars on the racetrack. But Jeff Chandler is a posing threat here. Obviously he is 4.3 seconds back. Hasn't really gained any time, but he hasn't really lost any time either, Jeremy. It makes me wonder and think, man, if this thing really does go green to the end, like, does Jeff Chandler genuinely have a setup that can beat Richie Coy? Does Richie Coy have a setup that's going to last on the super long runs? We already saw what it could do with 50 laps. I just don't know right now, Jeremy. It's kind of hard to tell, but Richie Coy obviously is the favorite.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I think the 31 has, if you're looking at the stats, I would say even to an extent has a better long run car when it's past 30 laps on the track. Now, the past few laps, the 31 on average is slightly faster than Richie, not by much, but is slightly faster, keeping a pace at 4.1 seconds behind him, which he was 4.3 about 3 laps prior. But the 31 has a different racing line. Oh, as we got the 7th caution this evening, as you see the 07 there of Robert Tracy. That's the second incident he's been a part of. I think the last one we had that huge slide through 1 and 2. This time having a slide of his own through through 4. Great job of locking it up and saving and not hitting the outside or inside wall rather, but a little left and right motion kept it off the wall and just fortunately not in front of the 47. That's the exact way that he spun out last time through 1 and 2, was right in front of the 47, and once again Ryan Hendrick rather gets to see the 07's side panel there.
Yeah, now imagine if that would have happened right directly in front of the 19, because Coy was only about 2 seconds back of that incident, so that could have been big had Richie Coy not gotten involved. Would have added on to those incident points for the season, obviously only having 2 up on the board. But Jeremy, this is probably going to be the final stop of the night. We just hit lap 140. 200 lap scheduled distance. These guys are coming to their boxes this time by. This is the money stop right here.
This has to be it right here. We're gonna have about 55 laps when we go back to green flag action. So as long as there's another caution, this is it. There will be no green flag pit stops from this point forward. So you have to hit your mark. I think everyone did hit their stall nice and clean. The 19 going to lead them out. Looks like the 31 having that best pit stall there on the very first one. Going to edge out the 84 there for second place. Jamie Knopf's going to take third. Austin Gassion fourth. Sherwood Williford fifth. We're going to kick it back to another picture-in-picture, and we're going to be right back before the drop of the green flag. And we are lined up here for another restart. They're going to be the 8th time we're going to see the green flag fly this evening. Richie Coys, they like to take the outside, which, if you've been tuning in all race long, he is absolutely killing these guys off of turn 1 and 2 and able to gap anybody that's been below him on every single restart. So great choice, an obvious choice there for the 19. 31 of Jeff Chandler, just talked about him being a little bit faster maybe on the long runs. Well, we're going to be wound up here for, I think, a 57 lap to the end run here. So if the 31 can maybe button up the short run a little bit, we might have a little competition here for the 19, but I just don't see that being a thing. I could be hopeful, but the green flag is out this time, and the 31's going to at least get a slightly better restart on your race leader. Come through turn 1, side by side still. He's going to drive it in deep, but the 19's going to grip, and actually he's going to maintain through center of the corner on exit. Jason, we got a little attempt here for a lead pass.
First time all night long that Richie Coy has had a battle for the lead, and it ends up being the guy he passed on lap 1 and turn 1. Jeff Chandler inside of Coy. Coy a little bit loose there off the corner. These guys still side by side, and Austin Gassion waiting in the wings in case something happens between these two. Caution out on the racetrack, though.
The 8th caution here by Roasted Gems Coffee is going to involve the 06 Daniel Simmons, the number 11 of Tony Solari, the 44 of Chris Beck, the 47 of Ryan Chapman. You see this 11 get loose there as he crashes right in front of the 44. There's the 47 barely on your screen. TJ Bartel squeaks by, clips to 06. 4 or 5 cars involved in this one.
Yeah, that's unfortunate right there. You see Solari, he's just hanging on to it, man. Nothing he can do. Right up in front of Chris Beck. You see Ryan Hedrick. He gets involved as well. A little bit of morphing right there. Hard impact for the 47. TJ Bartel starts to slow it up. He can't do anything. He gets involved. Daniel Simmons gets tagged in the right rear. That car nearly does kind of a turnover almost, but it was set down on the ground there. Unfortunate, though, for a lot of these guys back on through the pack who are just trying to manage and try to salvage a solid day.
I thought that 75 TJ Bartel had made it through, but yeah, he clipped the 44 there at the tail end of the wreck. As we're going to look one more time, focusing on the 11. We're going to go slow motion, just left, right. Drives up the track. 75 are on his roof camera now. TJ Bartel looking over to the right-hand side. Seeing the 47, 44, the 11 all getting involved right in front of him. They cross over, smashes the inside wall, and just nowhere to go for the 75. Boop, right on the snoot. Spins himself out into the outside wall.
Yep, and that's unfortunate right there. Obviously, just guys trying to get around this wreck and just, coming in and collecting themselves. But that's interesting. In Germany, the one thing probably we got to talk about, obviously, the black sheep, you could say, in the room is Jeff Chandler, because everything that's been going all night long, it's all just common things. And Jeff Chandler has become the black sheep in the room because he is the one who has a shot to try to pass Richie Coy. That restart proves something. If Jeff Chandler can have another restart here when we get back going green and get to Richie Coy's door, I think Jeff Chandler might be able to do something with it, and maybe even add Austin Gassion. But as of now, Jeff Chandler looks to be Richie Coy's only competition here for the end of this race.
I'm sure Jeff Chandler did not want to see that caution. That was the best attempt to make some move over the 19, held side by side up until that caution flag flew. If he can do that same exact thing, I think he's got something for him once again. I'm on your side. I'm excited now to see this last 50 laps unfold and how the 31 of Chandler is able to, progress and maybe pass the 19. Before we go back to green flag here for the 9th time, we're going to show you our schedule lineup for Nerd TV. You're accustomed to seeing us do it Monday and Wednesdays, but there's an RSR logo there on Tuesday now. Same exact time you've caught us on Monday and Wednesday, so it's literally the same exact for the 3 days. But we have the Mach-1 Performance Cup Series on Monday at FTSR, and then we kick it over to the RSR Next Generation Cup Series from ERL on Tuesdays, and then back at it with FTSR once again for the Martin Sports Truck Series on Wednesday. So stay tuned and support us. We appreciate you, and we love to shout out the comments and whatnot. So just thanks for doing this, and Yeah, join us on Tuesdays. It's a lot of fun over there as well. And these guys have one to go, Jason. 31 to the inside, 19 to the outside. So same exact setup as last restart.
Yeah, we're going to have to see right here if Jeff Chandler can just, in fact, pass the 19 of Richie Coy. But I tell you what, Jeremy, it's going to be really, 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 really hard to.
Yeah, it's proven tough, no doubt. 31 is probably the only car in this race that has any opportunity to make something happen. And it's one of the cleanest drivers as well. So I'm really hoping to get the same exact restart because I want to see that battle continue because that was pretty impressive.
Yeah, we'll just have to see. And Jamie Knopf, too. P4 right now, having a great run. Tyler Granat, Ryan Chapman, from their issues earlier on, 7th and 8th, they're trying to get top 10s here tonight. Everybody really having solid runs up here, even for the guys who had issues earlier on in this race.
All right, here we go. Pace car is down. Green flag is in the air, and the 19 gets a slightly better restart, but the 31 of Chandler somehow gets through the gears a little nicer. Getting to turn 1, the 31 dips down a little lower on that flat stuff, and I think that's going to be all the difference. The 19 able to clear Jeff Chandler off of turn number 1, but he is directly on the back bumper, puts his nose low, but 19 cuts it off kind of quick, and that's going to give the 19 the position.
I don't know why Jeff Chandler didn't try to go to the bottom right there. You want to try to take every opportunity that you can. I mean, I know what he was doing. He was trying to set himself up to be right in Richie Coy's tire tracks or have that outside advantage. But look at what it did. It's just, Richie Coy is now out front by a car length or two over Jeff Chandler. If I were Jeff, I would have been diving right down to the bottom, seeing the 19 get loose there off too, because that could have been the only opportunity that he's going to get now from here to the end of the race. We're approaching 50 laps to go. It's go time, man. You got what you got, unless another yellow comes out and everybody decides to pit, though. Great battle back here. Ryan Chapman.
Oh, no.
Chapman hard.
No caution. He did not spin. He just smashed the inside wall there. One of our iRock 93.5 in-race reporters. And he's going to lose over 10-plus positions getting loose there. No, we have the caution here. We got a car on the Chad Lang in the 4 off of turn number 2. Going to bring out our 9th caution presented by Roast to Jim's Coffee.
I think that was just some contact right there, but here we go down the front stretch. 27. Good job on him. Good job on the 27 to not overcorrect it and go right into the 16 there. And he was able to save it and got involved with Tyler Granat, but then coming through here, we're going to see in just a second as we look back at this one more time. You're going to see Ryan Chapman gets a little bit loose. Good thing he got it straightened out. It looked like he made some contact with the 16 there, but it wasn't. And unfortunately, 81's not going to check up. Just happens too quick. Bumps the 27. Hard contact into the wall right there. Lifts the 27's front bumper up off the ground. And then coming into turns 3 and 4, the 4 car goes around. And this might just... he just loses it. Yeah, just gets down the flat stuff, and the thing just starts to spin out, tries to correct it. Hard into the wall right there in 2.
Such an excellent effort to keep that car straight, and then at the last moment it turned right. Man, only if he could take that back, he would have just said, I can just loop it to the inside there on that second wiggle. There's one wiggle, saves it. We're good. Nope. Saves it again. Nope. Try to save it again. Third time, bites him in the rear. Smashes that Chevrolet logo, rightfully so, and it spins him around.
Yeah, unfortunate, too, for Chad Lang, because he was having a solid night tonight, just like most of the guys, too, who've had issues tonight. We talk about the 27, Ryan Chapman had an incident earlier. We talked to him, told him to go out there and dig and go have fun. Unfortunately, he gets involved in another incident tonight, and here's a guy who needed a nice pair of Nerditude's Martin Sports gloves, and he's going to get a Grip Lucky Dog award presented by Martin Sports. That's Daniel Simmons. He was up inside the top 5, top 10 earlier on, so he'll be back on the lead lap. Good to see that, as there's only, I believe, 13 cars, Jeremy, on the lead lap as of now, since Daniel Simmons got that get a grip award there.
We've had a bump up in a couple, so it's actually going to put him back as the 15th place car on the lead lap. So we're at 15. Daniel Simmons had 2 cautions back to back, and that's great for him. Now the next guy, 1 lap down, is actually going to be 9 laps down. That's the 44 Chris Beck. So I don't think we're going to see any more than 15 guys on the lead lap from this point forward. as we're going to try to actually bring in your race leader once again, the 19 of Richie Coy. See if you'd like to talk to us before we go back to green flag. Richie Coy, this is Jeremy once again in the Nerd TV booth. You got a copy again.
What's going on, guys?
Well, we talked to you at the stage break, essentially, and you said there will be some action on the track. And now we've had 8 more cautions since we've talked to you. So I think you changed the landscape entirely. The 31 of Chandler, he's been a threat here this past couple restarts. What do you expect from this point forward, and how are you going to try to keep the 31 behind you?
Oh, he's a great competitor. I knew he was kind of biding his time, saving his tires back in the first couple of stints, and he's going to be tough. He's going to be tough, and we're just going to keep doing what we're doing, and we're racing clean, and we'll see what happens.
Now that third lane there seems to have a lot of grip on this restart for you. Are you just utilizing that extra grip lane that's up there essentially, or as you're just set up overall? Do you feel like it just rotates so much better on the top?
No, it actually, there seems to be more grip when we get down on those restarts. I can get a nice run through the middle and off, and it seems like I could beat the car in the bottom. Most of the restarts I was beating the car actually to turn 1, but Chandler's being tough here.
All right, we got a half lap left. Good luck to you, and we'll most likely be talking to you after this thing's over with.
All right, sounds good, guys.
As I just pulled him back to his channel, I just instantly hope that there's no broadcaster curse on that comment there. But we're going to see here on this restart, Jason, what this 31 has in store this time.
Yeah, you better pray that there's no damn commentator curse on you, because Richie Coy would be pretty PO'd having the dominant run that he's had here tonight. I think Jeff Chandler might have learned something from the last restart, obviously, so he's going to try to incorporate what he did on that first restart he had at Richie Coy. We'll see what he can do right here.
Here we go. Green flag is out for the 10th time. The 31 has the same exact restart as last one, coming through turn 1. Does barely actually touches the flat, and it's going to help him rotate through center of 1 and 2. Gonna keep to the door panel, at least to the quarter panel of the 19. Gonna not be able to get clear, so we're gonna have a side-by-side battle here through turn 1. 19 throws it in deep, makes it happen.
I think it's just Jeff Chandler just driving it in a little too low there. I think if he wants to try to get to the 19, when he does, I think he needs to kind of run him up the track a little bit. Not door him, obviously. Just, make sure that Richie Coy doesn't have a lot of room. Maybe force Richie to a mistake. Maybe cost Richie to gas it up a little bit early, get loose, get tight, and have to save it. And that's how Jeff Chandler is going to be able to get by the number 19. And look at this. Here's the 4 of Chad Lang. The guy who was just in the dang wall is already P11 right now. That just goes to show you that we do not have a lot of cars on the lead lap, only 15 as of now. So he's continuing to make his way back up towards the front. But everybody else, though, starting to get single file again. As you look at Sherwood Williford, he's trying to make a pass on the inside of Kyle LaFrance. He'll get back in line. And Tyler Granat and Wayne Grossi want a piece of that battle as well here off 2.
Yeah, 43 to go this time around. 33 is all over the back bumper. The 16s, you saw that through corner exit 1 and 2. Going back a few more spots, looking at the 11 of Tony Solari, who's been involved in a couple wrecks. And that car still looks pretty good and performing quite well for his situation, as he's behind the 17 of Steve Loomis, the number 4 of Chad Lang. Both of those guys side by side for position. This is just around the top 10 area, focusing back on the 33, who's made the move now on the 16, trying to get around him. This will put him in 6th place. Or 5th,
point
rather.
out too, a couple laps ago, Richie Coy continues to get faster, Jeremy. 30.624 a couple laps ago. Fastest lap time of the race. And this has been a great battle between these two, Sherwood Williford and LaFrance. Down the front straightaway, LaFrance almost had no room given by Williford off turn 4, but they continue to be side by side. 33 is going to push the 16 up the track just a little bit. And that number 33 is going to go to P5 right now as he leads that train right there down the back straightaway. He sets his sights on Austin Gassion sitting in 4th.
It is definitely a train. No one's pulling out a line right now, but these guys are nose to tail as they're going to ride the wall camera here as you just see them one by one. Oh, we got a wreck actually. The 06, it looks like, of Daniel Simmons. Going to be collecting the 75 of TJ Bartel. 2 cars involved with this one for double-digit cautions, the 10th one this evening.
Interesting. I tell you what, if Richie Coy wins this race, I might have to ask him what numbers I should play on the Powerball here tomorrow when I go to work, because He has predicted just about everything. He said it was going to get crazy. It's been crazy. Hard battling throughout the back of the pack. The 06, 75 get collected together. Daniel Simmons, the guy who just had the Martin Sports get a grip award there, unfortunately just loses it off the corner, overcorrects it. TJ Bartel, man, he has had nowhere to go in about every single incident here tonight. TJ just cannot catch a break here tonight. I guarantee you he cannot wait to leave the Granite State virtually after tonight's race, because it has been one tough night for that 75 Wrangler car.
You are definitely not wrong. This guy's been involved in probably 4 or 5 of these wrecks. It just seems like, anyways. And he can give big thanks to these carbon composite bodies and being at a shorter style track. He's not taking those hits hard, and the car doesn't look too bad for getting, tossed around this entire race. But just TJ Bartel not having any luck here this evening.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, no help, at all. Just no luck, really. There's a lot of guys, too, who haven't really had a luck all night. Chris Beck, Rob Tracy, Ryan Hendrick, a couple guys back there, Josh Johnson as well, and Ryan Chapman. Talk about a night where bad luck there about a quarter of the way through, started coming up through the field, then gets involved in another wreck. Just unfortunate circumstances. A lot of guys, a lot of issues here tonight, Jeremy. I just can't believe the amount of drivers, the amount of cautions that we're having here tonight. I mean, 10 cautions. That's a lot. I think that's actually more than what we had on Wednesday night, if I'm correct. And these cars have a lot more grip on these short tracks, obviously, due to that low profile, wider tire width. Obviously they have a lot more horsepower too, but just I just can't believe, thinking that, this is going to be, a long strung out race, and we get the exact opposite here of that right after stage 1.
And it's not all but 10 minutes ago, maybe, that we had a first time we've seen the track temperature go down just to double digits at 99 degrees. So the grip level should be there in theory, but these cars are just riding that edge, as you see presented by Roasted Gems Coffee. Our current weather states 6 mile an hour winds, 76 degrees in the air, partly cloudy, and there's that track temp. 2 numbers this time at 99 degrees. We're going to have about 2 laps left before we're going to go back to green flag. We're going to shout out another one of our partners here that allows us to do this every single week. I'm not going to announce Roasted Gems. They got enough plugs tonight. We're going to jump over to iRacing iFlag. Standard source for iRacing when it comes to open sourced race marshalling system. It's a 64 LED matrix display that gives all the peripherals that iRacing has to offer, whether if your car is high or low, if you have a meatball, if you got the blue flag with the yellow line meaning you're super slow, and everything in between. This system sits on your desk, 3D printed, customized with different color options, different add-ons to the device, so it's not just a one thing. It's customized completely to you, and it really helps complete that sim rig. And iRacing iFlag puts back over 70% of what they profit back into the sim community, whether it's through driver sponsorships, events, charity races, and they do a lot more than that. So if you're interested in completing the sim rig and supporting Jeff over at iRacing iFlag, head over to iRacingIFlag.com. Check out everything they have to offer over there, and use that green code you see on the bottom of your screen, Super Nerd. It's going to save you 10 or 15% rather off anything you purchase. And another one of our products too, if you want to jump over to nerditudes.gg, we'd love to show you what we have on display for all of our swag apparel that we have. We have shirts, we have mouse pads, we have koozies, we have cups, and that product list is continuing to grow. And so head over to nerditudes.gg, visit the Nerd Swag section. But we're going to go back to green flag here. Jeff Chandler at 31, 3 or 4 restarts in a row, Jason. We've seen him compete with a 19 directly side by side. What does he have this time around?
We'll have to see. I think Jeff Chandler might try to be listening to a little bit of my advice. Maybe Doyle Lawrence giving him a phone call telling him what to do. I told him to push up the track a little bit. And sure enough, the 31 tried to, but down into 3 and 4. 31 is just not going to be able to contend with that number 19 machine. And here comes Jamie Knopp right down on the bottom side of the racetrack, side by side with Austin Gassion. LaFrance is able to clear Williford. That is for the 5th position. But everybody single file down to 1 and 2 as Gassion looks to go to the outside here of the 31 Abruzzi Racewear Chevy.
Trying to make some moves this time, but just could not do it there. Does not have the grip the 19 does on the top. But the 84 was trying to make a move, could not do it as well. So the top 4 now are going to be single file. 5th and 6th place are the 16 and 33. Make some contact to the center, 3 and 4. These guys just can't leave each other all race long.
Yeah, they really can't. And honestly, the France has been pretty much getting the short end of the deal with it. Williford just seems to be a lot faster. They almost make contact again there through the center 1-2. I think there's a little bit of contact right there off turn number 2 almost. If not, there was, and it was really close. But Williford and LaFrance, they have been having a good battle all night long. The 33, he tried to send it in there a little bit harder. Nearly got into the door of the 16 machine, off into turn number 3. He gets loose off 4. LaFrance tries the switcheroo. He'll go back down to the bottom, try to make a move here into 1 on lap 169.
All this movement has finally brought these guys single file, but right behind them, the 22 and the 81. That's Malikian on the bottom. Granat. Oh, and they're living. Tony Solari just absolutely destroys the inside guardrail coming off of turn 2. As you see, his tires turn into the right. There's no hood, no bumper. And that's going to end the night for the 11 of Tony Solari. We're going to kick it over to Nerd TV replay. Hits the... Oh, he just got loose again and just absolutely just kills that wall.
Yeah, and this could bring out a caution possibly, depending on if he gets off the racetrack or not here. I don't really see it bringing out a caution. He will get to pit road safely. I cannot believe that car was still able to drive there coming onto pit road, especially since the left front is damaged. I think it's better off to have the left front rather than the right front, since you're really driving off the right front when you're turning out of radius like that. But, oh my goodness, still...
Oh, no.
Malikian, what a save. Dove it into the corner, brushes the outside wall, locks it up like Daniel Simmons did earlier on in the race. He saves it, loses not 1, but about 2 to 3 spots there going into 1 and 2. Grassi up the racetrack, the 4 of Lang up the racetrack. Everybody getting racy, knowing there's just less than 30 to go.
Holy cow, let's see what we got here for the replay. Watch the 81's nose. The 22 just drives in super deep and just a little contact, but just this 81, though, just escaping any disaster possible here. This had the 22 with a massive, not like an intentional slide job per se, but oh, as the 7 gets loose here in real time, but he saves it, looks like. But the 22 almost just played bowling here with some of those guys through turn 1.
Yeah, that was looking like my varsity bowling matches back in high school. Thankfully, he wasn't able to get a spare, you could say, right there with those 3 cars. So they all save it. But, I mean, yeah, 7-10 split, as Dustin would say. It's the hardest dang split to make. I promise you it ain't as easy as the pros make it out to be, because that is super hard. But back to the racing action. These guys have been putting on one heck of a show here, Jeremy, with less than 30 laps to go. And obviously the 16 of France, he still wants to get Sherwood Williford for the 5th spot. But Tyler Granat, he is continuing to push forward lap after lap. So is Chad Lang. Lots of these guys back here have had some form of damage or issue here tonight. So it's good to see them competing here as you look to see Malikian go to the bottom of Lang off the corner. Contact made, but they're still side by side, single file now into 3.
Lang and Malikian both just cannot find a way to separate each other, just like the 16 and the 33 can't. All race long, these guys have been duking it out, whether it be single file, 2 wide, you know, getting split down the middle by some guys. It does not matter. These guys are just continuing to run this entire race. They're getting very comfortable with each other at this point, knowing exactly where the racing line is. The 81 and the 4 go side by side right in front of the 22 this time around. The 4 drives it down low, gets a little loose off corner exit, has to give that spot back to the 81.
Yeah, but the 4 of Chad Lang, so fast. I mean, even despite the damage from earlier and the wreck that he had going into 2 with the hard contact with the nose, obviously got it repaired with that optimal damage. And he's having himself one stellar run here tonight, despite everything that happened. Lots of these guys, Ryan Chapman, Robert Malikian, Brian Dublé, Chad Lang, all these guys. And look at Ryan Chapman, man, he still ain't blinking. The Connecticut native, he's doing a really good job in that machine right there. You're seeing him super focused. He wants to get more points. He knows that he's got more in that number 27 machine. It's just going to be a matter of can he keep the tires on it and can he get the runs off the corner, because he sees 3 spots, 3 opportunities to try to get some more points here in the late stages of New Hampshire.
Yeah, it's there. You just have to have a slight edge over the guy who's they're still just basically running the same exact setups. I know it's open setup, but man, these guys just look like they're on a fixed setup. The 22s are going to try to pass the 4. We're focusing on the 19 of Richie Coy here and the 31 of Jeff Chandler. Look at this. They've been green flag for a little bit, Jason, and they're still not even 1 second separated. So this is, if he can keep this pace up for another 10 or 15 laps, that being Jeff Chandler, he's got that edge on the super long run part of it. So does he get to the 19?
I'm just going to bluntly say it, no.
No.
Just because I think Richie Coy has been so fast, that whether it be a short, medium, or long length run here tonight, I mean, yeah, he falls off a couple tenths or 2, every other lap or so, and Jeff Chandler gains a couple tenths, but then he loses a couple tenths. So I just don't think so. I mean, obviously, I would love to see a battle for the lead, but that 19 machine has just been a zip code of his own all night long. Jeff Chandler is just trying to drive that race car to the best of its ability and try to catch Richie Coy. But, man, Coy's just so fast here tonight. I think he makes it a New Hampshire sweep here tonight.
The 19 is just running a slightly lower line than the 31, but to my surprise, the 19 is... Oh, as we have the 11th caution by Rosa Jim's Coffee, this time we're going to find the 57 spinning, the 27 Ryan Chapman, our in-race reporter. He's in this wreck, and also Stephen Loomis in the 17, so 3 cars involved in this one, maybe even 4.
Yeah, taking a look here at the Nerd TV replay. Taking a look at, Ryan Chapman.
Oh, man.
My goodness, what a hit.
Kapow.
Nose to nose right there, man. Between the 27 and the 17 right there. We're going to have to ride on board with one of them at least. And perfect. Just what I had to see. See, Mr. Walter knows everything that I want. You see some contact right there between the 27 and the 4. Sends him around. And I don't know if Steve Loomis just couldn't get it slowed down. I don't know if he thought the 27 was going to spin in a different direction or what. But, I mean, man, he just arc braked it practically going right into that corner. You see Chapman kind of dives in a little bit too much. The 4 comes down a little bit. And, unfortunately, the 27 just loses it and gets contact there with the left side door. And around he goes. And then, boom, right there, the number 17 Blackwater machine into the 27's nose. Hard contact. Those 2 probably going to be out for the remainder of the night.
Yeah, the 4 just kind of crowded the 27 there. No one really runs that bottom lane because it's so much flatter than the second lane. And so that's what you saw there. The 27 held his line there at the very bottom of lane 2. The 4 really, he didn't push him below the bottom lane, but he definitely crowded them for no room for air for the 27. And there was just not enough real estate for those 2 cars as they got to the center of the corners. We're going to go drone camera behind the 27 of Ryan Chapman. You see the 4 just coming down a little bit more. Actually, there was a little bit of slide there. There's that air from the 27. Just not enough room to really make any mistake, really. And slight contact caused him to spin, and the 17 is out of nowhere. Kapow! Right into the nose of Ryan Chapman.
Yeah, tough break for Ryan Chapman after the night that he's been having to make a recovery back inside the top 10, almost top 5. And then obviously that's just a heartbreaker, but oh my goodness. So what do we got here? It looks like we had a couple guys come in. I don't know if they took 2 or it took 4.
No.
I'm getting on my timing and scoring sheet. They all pitted at lap 181 besides Brian Dublé. I don't know if something happened to Richie Coy in the pits or what, but oh my goodness, this changes a lot right here.
And I'm going back and looking to the replays too. Nothing happened to the 19 race leader. Normal pit stop there. I think he got beat out by the 31 because the 31 has the best pit stall. That does look like it. There's 31's in front. We have the 99 stays out, the 16 stay out. That's a team call to keep those 2 guys in front. But this is going to change everything. The 37, Brian Dublé, 22nd on the grid, has been running about, between 10th, 15th, 17th, somewhere in that ballpark. Finds himself leading some laps here late in the going. This cannot hold up for the next 16 or 17 laps. But the 99 of Gassion, the 16 in Conor France, there might be a chance that if they could put some blocks on the 31 and 19, they might be able to hold this thing for at least a little bit.
They could be, but see, like I said, I just wondered, did they take 2 tires or what? Because I mean, they're all showing on lap 181, and I mean, when we restart here, this is going to be a battle because obviously we're looking at the battle between Jeff Chandler and Richie Coy. Who's going to pass who first? Who's going to get through these 3 cars the best? So I mean, with 16 laps to go coming up, all bets are off. You know, you're pretty much driving for yourself. You're not caring about teammates. You're just trying to survive and make sure that you could last all the way to the finish of this race because it has been chaotic here this last second half of the race.
Yeah, you're actually correct there. The 99 and 16 have 2 sets of tires installed on their cars, so the tire wear is not miserable, and this is going to put them probably going to be same speed for the next 10 laps or so, but as the run, if it does go green the rest of the way, I still expect the 31 and the 19 to be there, but pace car is down. We're going to see the green flag fly for the 12th time here at New Hampshire. Green flag is out. The 37 spins a little bit. Rear tire spin there. The 99 is going to clear him entering turn number 1. The 16 La France is going to go to the bottom. The doors open for Eastern Stars Motorsports to go 1-2 here off of turn number 2. And there it goes. As we're going to go 3 wide. The 19, 31, 37. Still 3 wide. Still 3 wide. The 37 slides up. Going to clear that. Almost 4 wide momentarily there. This is going to be tricky for the 37.
When Coy gets loose there off turn number 4, this could open up the door for Jeff Chandler to finally get the opportunity. We've seen Coy run the middle lane all night long when it comes to passing and being able to maintain that speed. He's going to cut Jeff Chandler off, slides right up in front of him. Call it a slide job, I guess you could say. He'll clear the 31. He'll go after the 16 now. And if you're Jeff Chandler right now, you're hoping Coy makes a mistake, gets involved in some traffic, and hopefully you could try to make an opportunity for a pass right in. But Austin Gassion checked out right now, almost a whole second. And Gassion, fastest lap time of the race, 30.615 for the number 99 as the battle is on for the second spot.
Jeff Chandler actually got loose in turn 2. That's why the 19 was able to clear him. And so that was all it took there. Now the 99 struggling with the 16. 16 knows this is a team game right here. Choke the 19 as much as you can on the inside lane. Do not give him that advantage. And you're allowing his teammate, the 99 of Austin Gassion, to continue to push forward slightly over 1 second advantage between these 2 guys and the 99.
Chandler, I'm riding behind the 16 up until the point to where he knows that Richie Coy might get clear of him because he's holding him up. Because if he runs right behind the 16 possibly, well, obviously not now, he might be able to. If he just runs a little bit up more, and you see the 19 trying to crowd the 16 up the racetrack more, but the France comes right back at him, and oh, Coy gets loose. Jeff Chandler to the outside. Here they go, battling into turn number 1. Hard-fought racing. Coy doors him right into turn number 1, tries to skedaddle away. Not going to be enough. The 31 machine right on the rear diffuser of the 19 entering turn 3. This is some great stuff coming to 11 to go.
Yeah, trying to muscle his way around the 16 to 31 puts an immense amount of pressure there. But the 99 staying cool, calm, collected, finally makes it happen, gets around the 16. Now 1.4 seconds separates first second. Oh, as Conor LaFrance drives it in deep, maybe trying to get one last effort to give Austin all the room he needs. But this is it now. That was for 1 and 2. And the 16 puts a little block on the 31. Jeff Chandler trying to get around 16 for the podium spot, 3rd place.
I think the 16 is going to fight the 31 as hard as he did with the 19. Tries a crossover move, not going to work, but he has got there because Jeff Chandler got a little bit squirrely off turn number 4. 10 laps to go. Battles on for the last place on the podium to see who gets to talk to us up here in the booth after the race. But that 31 of Bruzy Raceware off the corner. Oh, no! Around goes the 31 and the 16. Hard into the inside retaining barrier. And the 16
my gosh.
Oh my goodness, and this is not going to be a caution.
No caution. That was in the tire barriers, which I still have no idea why there's a massive amount of tire wall there on the backstretch for no reason. And that just destroyed the 31 and the 16 as we're going to go on board with Connor LaFrance off of turn number 2. There's the looseness one last time, bites the 31 a little too much. They go to the inside, and I have no idea why there's a massive tire wall here, but they're going to find it. They did a good job, relatively speaking. They're going to make some contact to the inside. That's not where the damage occurs. This is, you see this massive black wall right here. Boom, boom. Destroys everything on the nose of these cars.
Jeff Chandler, he hit another layer of tire barriers right there down the back straightaway. He had a hard hit right here. As you take a look, last replay before we go back to on-track action, this 31 just loose and unfortunately collects the 16 down onto the racetrack, hard into the wall. Jeff Chandler rides it, boom, right into the wall. Hard contact, destroys both front fenders, destroys the hood, the bumper, everything on the racetrack. And again, here it is, perfect shot, hits the wall. Thankfully doesn't hit that, but then oops, hard impact right there into the inside wall.
Now that right there, that's a right-hander to the road course that extends outside the oval barriers there. But for the oval situation, why the tires are so stacked up is just pretty impressive, and it just bites the 31 hard there. Obviously, you saw it from the nose camera that time. But now we're focusing on these two, the 99 and the 19. They are separated by 1 second, 6 laps remaining. Richie Coy has gained 4/10 in the past 4 laps. So at that pace, he's not going to make it. He's going to need a little bit more air from this 99 Gassion. We know Richie's not going to make the mistake. So will the 99 do anything, or will he take 11 cautions to get to this position in the race, take the 2-tire stop, make the best call of the night, and make it happen?
Yeah, Richie's going to basically need to gain about 3/10 here these next 5 laps if he wants to try anything at Austin Gassion. You see in the last 2 laps, loose off every single end of the racetrack, gains about a 10th right there off turn number 2. Coming to 4 to go this time by Gassion, trying to steal one away from the guy who's led practically every single lap of this race here tonight. 4 laps to go in the Granite State.
Doyle Lawrence there cheering for Jeff Chandler all night long, just simply says unbelievable. What a huge letdown after an awesome race there by the 31. But, yeah, 0.8 separated that last time. And actually, the 99 gets a little loose this time. This is the closest Richie Coy has been here. Coming to 3 to go at the line this time. Does he make that pounce?
We'll have to see here. 3 laps to go. I think Richie Coy just needs to not overdrive the car. Keep doing what you've been doing all night long. You've been the fastest guy. You've nearly closed in half a second. And with 3 laps to go, I just don't know if it's going to happen. He's been faster every lap. It's just, is he going to have enough time? And when and where will he pass the 99 if he gets the opportunity? We're looking to see possibly a first-time winner go to victory lane over one of the longtime veterans here of the FTSR, this time by 2 laps to go.
If you're the 99, you do not, I repeat, you do not look in that rearview mirror, because you're going to see more and more of that advanced auto parts car. So you just want to keep that out of your mind. Just focus on what's in front of you, which is your line around this 1 mile facility. And you got a lap and a half to do so. If the 99 can at least maintain this pace, he has it. But Richie's trying everything, slides up an entire lane, still able to rotate the center of the corners. You see him on the iRock 93.5 as we get the white flag presented by nobody. You see the 99 just driving away a little bit off corner exit. 1 lap to go.
Right now, Richie's trying to prevent the 99 into a mistake. And oh, the 99's a little bit loose. They're off 2. The 19, though, loose as well. It's going to come down to 1 final corner. Will Coy try the dive bomb into 3 for the final time? He tries it, but it looks like Gassion is going to come off 4.
The winning moment is the 2-tire stop for Gassion out of nowhere. Is going to take the checkered flag, steals it from Richie Coy, essentially. Big props to Austin Gassion and the Eastern Stars Motorsports with him and Connor LaFrance making that 2-tire strategy work to their advantage. And I did not expect to see the 99 here, but here he is picking up the win for Eastern Stars Motorsports. And I think that's going to be our fourth different winner this season.
Drive by the 99 to not be able to, really obviously have too many mistakes there those last few laps. Richie Coy, I can only imagine he's probably dejected when we talk to him, because I think that's the first time, really, honestly, since I've been starting to call this stuff, Jeremy, that I've really seen Richie Coy drive his ass off and not been able to close something like that. I mean, to dominate a race like that and come up so short, 0.3 of a second, 0.33, got there, not enough time. But Austin Gassion, man, first time winner here tonight, steals one away. I don't think anybody expected this. We expected the ESM boys to come out here and put on a show. But once we saw that 19 get out in front of the 31 and then those two battle for a little bit, but with the 19 dominating, I don't think anybody expected that. And what an aggressive pit call. Talk about strategy. I mean, this place is known for strategy, and sure enough, strategy is what won the race here tonight.
And now another driver in that camp at ESM can say, hey, Mark, I got to win too. And that's going to belong to the 99, as he's going to do his Polish lap, which I don't know if this is the right call, because we know Richie Coy does this. And for the 99 to steal the win and then to steal the backwards lap, I don't know. But jumping over to the chats real quick before we go over the results. Bit the bullet for Austin. Good win, good race for coming from Connor LaFrance on the chats. Coming out of the car and quickly jumping onto the YouTube. But here's your unofficial results here for this evening. Austin Gassion, obviously P1. Richie Coy, P2. What a heartbreak there for him. The 81, Tyler Gano, ESM driver, is going to finish third. Robert Malikian recovers up, gets back 10 spots, going to finish in fourth. Jamie Knopp, fifth. Wayne Grassi moves himself up into sixth place. Great run for that 7 machine. Number 4, Chad Lang finishes in seventh. Brian Dublé, eighth. Stephen Loomis, in ninth. And the 10th place car this evening, Joshua Johnson.
See Kyle LaFrance there, first one of that bunch that crashed on the back straightaway before the checkered flag flew. Conor LaFrance 11th, TJ Bartel 12th, Jeff Chandler, heartbreaker tonight for him again, 3 weeks in a row, finishes 13th. Sherwood Williford after such a strong performance, 14th. Brian Chapman, same goes to him, 15th tonight. Tony Solari 16th, Ryan Hendricks 17th, Daniel Simmons 18th, 19th is Chris Beck, and 5th place finisher from last week at Atlanta, Rob Tracy, rounds out your top 20.
21st, Brandon Elder. 22nd, James Wallace. 23rd, Kyle Malikian. 24th, Mark Brannigan Jr. 25th, Casey Lowe. 26th, James Torrey. 27th, Alan Crowell. And Colby Mice rounds out tonight's 28-car lineup for the New Hampshire 200. We're going to go full screen, commercial break, bring in the top 3, and we'll be back with you guys to get their final thoughts on tonight's race. And welcome back here this time for the Martin Sports post-race show, where we're going to bring in tonight's top three. At least two of them at least are ready to go. Not sure about Tyler Gano, but we're going to bring in second place finisher driver that Advanced Auto Parts Ford Mustang, Richie Coy. And oh my gosh, Richie, you had it up until the 11th caution, and some tire strategy put you in second. What are you thinking right now?
I'm thinking it was you and Jason. You guys said it. It wasn't eventful enough. So we went ahead and go out there and make it 11 cautions. I could only handle 10 of them, and that was it. What are you going to do? Second. First loser. Austin and was it Connor? LeConnor did Connor LaFrance did a great job with their 2-tire stop. Definitely it was a call to do it. And I got there, but too little too late. What are you going to do?
Yeah, I mean, you did everything as far as trying to get around Connor LaFrance. You were door to door with him for 4 to 5 laps, I think. You even nudged him up the track a couple times, and it finally opened the window there. Is there anything you could have done different other than wreck him to get around him the way you did? You did such a nice professional job of getting around him, but just what could have you done anything different to maybe have a couple more laps at that 99?
Well, hopefully I could have just tried to I guess, do a dive bomb slide job, as they say. Maybe slide up in front of him. But I really didn't want to try to move him. I wanted to get by him clean. That's how I race. I try to race guys clean up until they don't race me clean. And yeah, it was the 99 was getting further and further away. So I was trying to, I know he was pinching me down a little bit, and I was trying to get more arc, and we might have tapped a couple times, and we kept it clean and kept going. And I don't know if there's anything different. Like I said, the 2-tire call was definitely the way to go.
Yeah, and Richie, obviously, I would say congratulations on finishing second, but I know that's not what you want to hear right now, man. I know that's not what you want to hear. I've been there, but not to get, obviously, like, just in a down level, but I mean, obviously, we see you coming first a lot. We've seen you win a lot of races, especially ever since I joined over here on Nerd TV. We don't really see you come up second, like you did tonight. Obviously, you dominated a race. You come home second. What does it feel like as a driver, knowing you're competing, even with the amount of points you have, the amount of experience you have? How does it feel to just know that you were oh so close by 0.3 of a second to win in a race that you practically dominated?
Well, the first thing you got to think of is that there was 28 guys tonight, and there was 26 other guys that would kill to be where I was. So I'm blessed to be driving the car I'm driving, blessed to be driving for the team I'm driving with, and and the equipment that I have. So, you can't win them all. We try to win them all. We can't win them all. It happens. It's racing. You take the good with the bad. If second is bad, I'll take it any day.
I love that response there, where all the other guys, 26 others, would just love to be in your spot, and so be thankful the way you finished here tonight. So great way to keep your head on your shoulders on that one. But man, that was an epic race. You are going to extend your points lead quite a bit over Mark Brannigan Jr., who finishes outside of the top 10, all the way back in 24th after having internet issues. So a little more comfort there for 2023B. And just continue that momentum like you always do through the remainder of the season. But floor is yours. Who'd you like to shout out tonight?
Well, I want to thank my team, even though half of them didn't show up tonight. Michael and Brody didn't show up tonight. But yeah, I always got to thank them. We always, like I said, we always try to put the best equipment out there. We always try to race the best. And they're always back behind me. Tony and I were it tonight, so we did the best we could. And thank the league. I would say I'd thank the drivers, but 11 cautions was a little much. We might need to work on that for next year. Thank God we don't have to come back here again for that. But obviously, thanks Tony's mom and dad for watching. I think we already got texts. Thanks to Martin Shorts for helping us out with the Wednesday night league, and thanks to the nerds as always.
Yeah, Brody Hannah, I'd hate to say it, but he has 27 reasons not to be here tonight. So unfortunate to hear that. But yeah, man, go ahead and I can't say celebrate second place, but at least congratulations on extending your points lead, and we'll catch you on Wednesday.
Hey, the beers are just as cold in second as they are in first.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%, man. Absolutely love that.
That's a good one.
All right,
All
dude.
right, guys.
We'll catch you.
Later.
Love that energy from Richie Coy to have that devastating loss there and have such good positive energy coming from still. But now it's time to load up the Mach-1 Performance victory lane is for the first time. We're going to be able to talk to the 99 of Austin Gassion. Welcome, man. Congratulations.
Thank you.
What a strategy call. You were not in position. You're like top 5 here. You're doing pretty good. But then that call in the 11th caution to say, hey, there's not much tire wear on this track. Let's slip on 2 tires and let's go at it. And your 16 teammate Connor LaFrance did an excellent job. I mean, just phenomenal job holding off Richie Coy on that restart, pinching him down low, throttling him a little bit for 5 laps or so. And that gave you the gap that you needed to win. So what was the call, or what was the conversation like to make that call?
Well, first I want to give a shout out to Connor. Unfortunately, he didn't get the finish he deserved, but the teamwork he did, he kind of bit the bullet for me. And then about the call, to be completely honest, I barely got the check off to not take lefts. We were debating about it, and earlier this week, I got the short end of a stick when the 2 tire call. So I was like, you know what? I might as well do it. I have the speed. Near the end of the race, the car just kind of came back to me, and just it was kind of last second thing. And if go big or go home, honestly, go for the win and nothing.
Yeah, Austin, congratulations, man. Obviously, you were so close to winning last week. Got involved in a last lap incident with half a lap to go, but obviously you come here with a place, the Magic Mile, and obviously you guys over ESM, you guys put on some magic here tonight with that 2-tire stop, you and Connor both. But man, I said it during the race, man. You were sitting third in the points, and you were starting to close in a bit on Mark, and you were starting to close in a bit on Richie. How does it feel knowing that you got that win? You got in a sense, the monkey off your back since coming over to the FTSR, man. Do you think you're going to have a shot to go after for the Season B title?
I think definitely. Richie's really fast. He's every single race I've been part of, he's always been up front. I think last week was only unfortunate, and that was still a restrict plate. It happens, but I mean, with the setups we bring every week and just our teamwork, I think that all of us, me and Mark, with the position we're in, will have a better chance for the season title. But hopefully, we don't want to think that big at the end of the season. It's always good to think about the title now, but it's always you got to think about the next race. It's always trying to complete the next race first.
There you go. And yeah, ESM has just been phenomenal to watch in 2023B. Happy you guys are here at FTSR. And yeah, man, you can finally tell Mark, hey, you're not the only winner on the team. So congratulations to that. But the floor is yours. Who would you like to thank one last time before we let you go this evening?
I want to thank my team. Uh, Unfortunately, some of them didn't get the finish that they deserved. I want to give a shout out to you guys for putting on a show every single week. It's always fun to watch the broadcast back. I want to thank the admins of the league. They do an amazing job with the league they put on. The racing is always fun in here. 11 cautions. I would like the more green flag runs, but at the same time, I'm also thankful for the cautions because kind of saved my bacon. Uh, and just thankful to be in this position. And take home the win at my home track. So yeah, it's always good.
There you go, a little hometown victory. I like it. Cool, man. Well, congratulations. Hopefully, this continues to be more successful as you log off some more wins throughout the season. And go ahead and celebrate and enjoy the rest of your night.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you. That was Austin Gassion driving the number 99 ESM machine, getting the second driver to victory lane for that team. This is a longer event, Jason. Now we're at 11:30 now Eastern Standard Time. I think the longest broadcast of 2023. Very uneventful. We thought this was just going to be a breeze for some drivers, and then caution, 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 caution. Didn't really expect that halfway through this race. What's your overall take on this thing?
Man, I mean, listen, again, I'm going to be blunt. We all really thought this was going to be a single file train, a lot of not really passing. Going to see a lot of guys start to pull away, manage those gaps. Me, you, Dustin, we all said it in the beginning of the broadcast. And I mean, the first part of the race, that first stage, yeah, it was. But like we still had that racing. And once the tires started to really wear out at about after 35 to 40 laps, you really started to see guys kind of struggle for lack of grip and try to search around the racetrack, find what they could. I mean, Richie Coy was put on the bottom when him and Jeff Chandler were battling, and that he couldn't do anything. Hell, he was driving his ass off, and he couldn't do anything with it. But once he got up on that top side, he was able to make speed. It just goes to show you that there are some guys tonight who were primarily top, primarily middle, primarily bottom feeder guys. But I mean, what a race. I mean, 11 cautions. Yeah, a little bit much like Richie Coy said. And also real big shout out to him too. I mean, that was a really good statement that he gave us there up here in the Nerd TV booth. You know, obviously there's 20, he said there was 26 other guys who would be dying to be in the position that he is. Obviously this is sim racing, but this means a lot to a lot of guys. I know it means a lot to Richie Coy. I know it means a lot to the ESM guys. But these guys put on one heck of a show. I will say, as my last closing statement, I think that if Connor LaFrance didn't hold up Richie Coy as good as he did, I think we would have been talking to Richie Coy over in the Mach-1 Performance victory lane at the end of this one.
Yeah, 100%. And Dustin over there nodding his head in agreement. Is that what your idea of what would happen as well?
I would have to agree 100%. I mean, that right there was a show of good teamwork. You know, one driver was pulling out, the other one did everything they could. They raced clean, but did not just roll over and give it to the 4 tires over their 2 tires. So it was an excellent team call on that one. But yeah, I feel it would have worked out the same way this race. 11 cautions, like you said, but that tells me these drivers were not content doing the choo-choo train all the way around like we're typical, what we typically see here at New Hampshire. So it definitely threw some monkey wrenches into things. It was nice to see. We had some heartbreak in there. Like I said, Connor LaFrance, a heartbreaker. Mark Brannigan Jr., heartbreaker with the connection issues that took place. Boomerang Motorsports, all 3 team cars taken out in an incident that it was none of their control whatsoever. So, I mean, just heartbreak on that one. Richie Coy dominating a race and got beat out by a pit road strategy call. But that's racing, though. I mean, that's what makes this exciting. That's what makes it awesome. That's why these guys keep coming back week in and week out. And that's why these viewers keep coming back to watch to see exactly what the hell happens.
That's right, 100%. And also, Jeff Chandler, too. Don't forget him. Part of that last wreck there that had no caution where his car just got destroyed by the tire barrier there. But yeah, this is gonna close it out.
The overzealous tire barrier, obviously, way too many tires.
Yeah. Elongate that destroyed word a little bit more.
He had such a good race too. I mean, top 5 was making a run. I mean, the only driver on the restarts that could give Richie a run for his money. I mean, it was good. I agree with Jason. I was looking for that fight down to the end between those two, and we didn't get it.
Yeah, it was so close. 1 or 2 more laps, and that would have been an epic race for the lead. But, congrats to 99 Austin Gassione. Sponsors are going to be on the right-hand side of your screen here. This is everyone who we love to thank every single broadcast. Starting at the top, Full Throttle Sim Racing. Be a part of this action. It is awesome to be here. That's why we've been doing this with this league for almost 2 years at this point, and we can't get enough of it. So join us at FTSR.net. Mach-1 Performance, your Cup Series sponsor every single Monday night. They have produced champions from all sorts of racing divisions. Find them at Facebook at facebook.com/Mach-1 Performance. Sim Racing Points, the best points management system that iRacing can never have, and you're going to find them at simracingpoints.com. Please check them out. They got everything that you need to track your league stats with. Martin Sports, top quality apparel to make you look stylish and feel comfortable. Find them at martinsports.gg. iRacing iFlag, get all of your notifications just a fraction of a second quicker with their unit from iRacingIFlag.com. Butt Kicker, get the ultimate feel from the race car directly into your sim rig. You can find their products at thebuttkicker.com. Team Watson Racing Setups. Richie Coy was driving one tonight. He shouted him out. I don't need to say more. That guy just completely destroyed the field minus the 11th caution restart. Oh, well. But you're going to find them at teamwatsonracing.com. And lastly, Roasted Jim's Coffee. They've been shouted out enough. Just start your day the right way from a bag of ground coffee from roastedgems.com. This is going to close us out. we're going to catch, or at least Dustin and I are going to catch you guys tomorrow night from RSR Next Generation Cup Series action. And then we're going to kick it over Wednesday with Jason back in the booth as we're going to see the trucks from Martin Sports. And this is going to be it, guys. Until then, we'll see you tomorrow. Stay safe. Get your nerd on.